Hey guys, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. Today we will see what if Naruto defeated Sasuke, unleashed the infinite Tsukuyomi and entered a world of vampires. If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments. The battle was won, Kagaya defeated, and the infinite Tsukuyomi released. All seemed well to the shinobi that were crying because of the overwhelming joy knowing that the war had ended. But before that Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura along with Kakashi and the reanimated Kage and the Ridoku Sennin or Super Sage Gramps, were watching him in his final moments before returning to the land of the dead. Sage of Six Paths, please listen to my final wish before I shed my mortal coil once more and fall into the cold embrace of the Shinigami. Hagoromo raised an eyebrow and with a calm tone he asked the dying man. What is the wish of the one who almost reached the dreaded plan to enslave all of mankind in his foolish endeavor of so-called peace? He said as he was felling the mixed emotions of everyone round him, especially Naruto, from which he felt great anger mixed with pity, and if Naruto resented him for everything that he had done to him, the village and his friends. The sage knew all too well that Naruto out of people would forgive him, as Madara, who thought he was the puppet master, played along as a fool in Kaguya's plan of vengeance over the world of shinobi. Began Madara to talk with a slight smile appearing on his figure. I wish to give Naruto all my power along with the eternal Sharingan. Every once there remained shocked along with the tailed beasts at Madara's request. Even the cold-hearted second Tsuchikage was perplexed by this. And Senju Hashirama along with Tobirama, Hiruzen and Minato thought that this is impossible, and in a choir with a shocked expression said, "What, was that the same Madara they battled against?" From the crowd the only one that didn't seem at least impressed was the third Raikage, who just raised his shoulders, blinked and had a big mental, meh. What are you planning? What's your scheme, you damned snake? Yelled the enraged Sasuke as he has pointing his Chikuto at Madara ready to slit his neck and send him as fast as he could in death's claws. Sasuke, turning around he saw Kakashi. Have a bit of patience and listen a bit. He can't and won't do anything. His chakra is near zero and going down. He doesn't even have enough power to stand, he's too weak to try to plot something right before death, said Kakashi as he saw Madara's chakra disappearing into thin air. Fine, roared Sasuke, but better make it quick, as he was glared at his former sensei with his specially modified Rinnegan. This is just spooky, added Sakura. Why you wish so, child? Asked the phantasmal sage. What's with this strange change of heart, Madara, and why give me your eyes? Asked the astonished Naruto. It's because while Kagaya took control of me I had just enough time to take a careful review of my life. From my childhood till my first death to this current short life and my battles with you, Naruto. I saw that no matter what I did, no matter how powerful I was, you proved me that with an unbreakable will, lots of sweat and friendship, you can achieve true strength. Something that I could never attain, said Madara as he was looking over to Naruto. It's all nice and I am flattered by your compliments, but it still doesn't explain the fact that you somehow want to give me all your power, replied Naruto while he held his arms crossed and wondered if he hit Madara too hard during one of their fights and made him lose it. Ha 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 ha, you really are dense, aren't you? Said Madara, as every once, even Super Gramps, started to chuckle. Hey, watch it, pal, said Naruto as he has mad because of Madara's remark made him look bad. Let me get it through that thick skull of yours. Me reason is that I want to make up for my sins, and also I felt it's the right thing to do. You also deserve the power of the Sharingan more than I do. Silence engulfed the area as everyone except Naruto and Sasuke nodded in respect for Madara's honorable decision. And how are you going to give the Dobi your power and Sharingan, may I ask? Aren't you on death's door? In the state that you are in, even if we take out your eyes they would just crumble to dust because of the state you're in, said Sasuke as a snobbish smirk was forming on his face. You say that you are a true Uchiha. And that just because you have obtained the complete Susanoo, gained the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and have a good use of Amaterasu, said Madara as Sasuke began to feel his right hand twitch. In the long history of our clan there is a forbidden jutsu that was made in order to increase the clan's number. The Ten no Kokudai Raito Jutsu, that allowed one to become a full-blooded Uchiha, giving him the Sharingan while the individual would keep his old powers, along with the fact that he could pass to later generations the Sharingan. All was good the soon the jutsu was forbidden and forgotten in fear of the Sharingan being stolen from the Uchiha. I once had the luck to learn this technique in case that I should ever be in need of someone to carry on my will. And that someone is you, Naruto," said Madara as he felt his time was almost up. "Come, I don't have much time left. Well, I seem quite adamant about it, so okay. But don't try pulling something," said Naruto as he gave him his trademarked foxy grin. "Wait a damned second, Madara." Everyone turned to hear Hashirama yell, "You ain't the only that wants to make a gift to young Naruto," said as he laughed. "Your speech gave me some thinking to do, and I came to the following result: that I, Hashirama Senju, as the first Hokage, shall pass on the pride of our village," said as he had a heroic stand on a hill-sized rock. "Wait, don't you tell me you're Makin me Hokage," said as his eyes began to sparkle. "Hoowho, this rocks," he said as his voice was heard all through the battlefield. "Close but not quite. What I meant was my Mokuton will be yours through a Kenjutsu of our own." But before he could finish he said, "And I don't want to hear a thing from you, brother." After this, all could have been seen laughing at the sight of a depressed Tobirama. "I don't desire to ruin the mood, but, he have to hurry," Madara told them as they saw him almost as pale as paper. "There's no time to lose, let's go at it," yelled Naruto as he was ready to receive the blessings of the Uchiha and Senju. And thus the former outlaw and the first Hokage ran through hundreds of hand signs and spew some gibberish as in the end they both cut their right and slapped the ground in order to reveal thousands of glowing kanji that enveloped them and Naruto. Everyone then felt an awesome warmth entering them. The only one that wasn't enjoying the sight was Sasuke, as he was boiling with anger and envy seeing as so much power was wasted, but he also was happy because now he had a worthy opponent to fight. After all that, dawn was breaking in and thus the time of the former glorious cage was over, but right before that Naruto had an emotional conversation with his father, even if it was short-lived. "Happy birthday, Naruto," said Minato as he was trying to hide his tears. "You've grown so much." "Yeah, thanks Dad. I'll tell Kushina all about what a fine man you have become, son," he said as tears started to flow down his chin. "Don't worry, Dad," he said as he began to tell him about how much he ate, that he wasn't a picky eater and that he didn't eat only ramen as he stressed it out. Then he told him that he had showers and he bathed daily at a bathhouse. And it mentioned to him that he made lots of wonderful friends that made him into the man that he's today. Then came his least favorite part, talking about studies, but he quickly said that didn't get him down. Then his respect towards the third and Kakashi sensei. He also told him that he had no trouble with the three taboos even if Jiraiya told him about them. In the end he told him about his dream to become like him, a Hokage that everyone would look up to. And with that all the cages smiled as they were slowly returning to the other realm. "I will make sure to tell all that to Mom," he said before turning into as at the coming of daybreak. "What a wonderful child," said Super Gramps as he nodded in agreement to himself. After all that, all the cages and Madara went to the other realm. "Well kid, time for us to come back," said Kurama with a big grin on his face. "I'm happy that you say that, Kurama," he replied as he was sobbing with a big smile. "So how does the power of the Sharingan and Mokuton fell like Kit?" said Kurama. "It's how should it put strange, it fells in a way like your chakra." "Warm. Nice one, Dobi, so now you're a part Uchiha and also you have Senju's power over wood," said Sasuke as an evil smile began to form on his face. "But now I think that I am going to take all that power for myself and even more." Naruto froze hearing the statement as he gulped in anticipation of what Sasuke may throw at him. And that something he felt isn't gonna be nice at all. After that mental note, Sasuke used him Rinnegan and casted a genjutsu on the tailed beasts that made it out of the 10 tails. "Why you little," said Kurama as he used all of his might to try and squash the Uchiha into a bloody was in vain as Sasuke then yelled, "Chibaku Tensai." Then Naruto raised his head as he saw all of his tailed friends were encased in stone and were floating, slowly going up more and more. "You son of a bitch. Why the hell you did that for?" roared Naruto. "Why? Because I desire to end them, then become Hokage and make all war but a memory of the past, but if that won't be possible I will just cast the infinite Tsukuyomi and enslave everyone in eternal dreams," said he as his was glaring down on Naruto. "And I will make sure of all that by taking you out of the main picture." "Hey, you always talk big but rarely delivered, you know," smirked Naruto. "Care to prove me wrong, Dobi? Then you know the place," said Sasuke. "Please, I beg you both, please stop this senseless fighting. Only thing that you will do is just generate more pain," more sorrow and more destruction. Didn't you fight with us in order to make peace, so everyone in the elemental nations could stop worrying about their loved ones dying on the fields of bloody battle? So every child could have a parent that could be there for him and love him. Then Sasuke, tell me why are you doing this? She said while she was crying her eyes out and hoping that maybe she could make him change his mind. But she failed because right when she ended her speech he came like a bolt of lightning and punched her in the gut, making her faint. Sakura! Naruto yelled, but in a flash his old sensei caught her in his arms, checking her pulse and then telling Naruto be calm down as Sakura was fine. Then after piping down for a sec he then turned to Sasuke and told him, "Alright Teme, time to end this now," he said while Sasuke smiled after hearing the words the so much longed after. After a long wait he could prove that his ideals here better than Naruto's by defeating him and ending his life. And so they ran towards to the Valley of the End, the place where all started and where it all ended, but little did they as this would not the last battle that Naruto and he shall take part in and witness the gruesome reality of war, but not a war of shinobi but a war of man and beast. Hey, this really takes me back, chuckled Naruto to himself. You are a nostalgic fool, said Sasuke with a cold tone. But savor it for it's going to be your grave. And after that they engaged in battle. Sasuke and Naruto were in high gear, feeling the adrenaline pumping in their blood as they battled. Thanks to Super Gramps the stakes were way up as Sasuke summoned his Susanoo and Naruto the yin half of Kurama that he had in him, and also he had to thank Madara and Hashirama for the Sharingan and Mokuton for they saved his hide quite a number of times in that battle. Especially the Sharingan, and at one point in battle he was able to summon his own Susanoo. That made Sasuke's jaw to drop the floor as there was witness to a perfect Susanoo that looked almost like Madara's just with slight changes. Naruto's Susanoo color was slightly darker than Madara's and its handguards having claw-like marks, and he also saw it wear sandals. Its outer outfit looked like Naruto's sage outfit with its flame patterns at the end of its sleeve and at the end of the outfit. The strangest thing that he observed was that Naruto had just one tomo on both his Sharingan, making him mentally swear a couple times. All nice, but Naruto couldn't sustain the Susanoo for long. All that he had were about 5 minutes before it dispelled and he had to call Kurama. Naruto was happy of the feat he pulled as he saw Sasuke's face. It was all worth it. Then it came to him that his eyes didn't sting and also he barely used any chakra. All nice, but he had to keep his guard up as the Teme would take any chance he had in order to slit his throat. But after a 3-day epic fight in which flew around lots, and I say lots, of Chidoris, fireballs, Amaterasus, shadow clones, Rasengans and other techniques. But the winner was Naruto, as he was able to beat Sasuke after he took a lot of tailed beast chakra and called forth a new form of Susanoo. They were both low on chakra, but Naruto had enough for one last stand after he nullified Sasuke's Arrow of Indra, which he countered with Yin-Yang Rasen Shuriken. After that it all resumed to an all nice and old clobbering, witch fists flying in all directions. But skipping all this, it all ended by each trying to defeat the other, or in Sasuke's case kill the other by using their best techniques. Sasuke with his Chidori and Naruto with his Rasengan. After an hour or so they woke up in order to see each other's hands gone. Thank God the bleeding had stopped. So this is how it ends, EY? Said Sasuke on a sad tone. You an idiot, yelled back Naruto. We ain't done here, Teme, just wait up till he heal. Then we'll go at it again and show you who's the boss, said Naruto. Ha 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 ha, you win Dobi, said the Teme. What, said Naruto. You fucking with me, Teme? Roared the blonde. Did I that finger jutsu of Kakashi sensei's hit all the way from your ass to your brain? He said, then bursting into laughter. No, it's just that you showed me that your ideals are stronger than mine. Listen, if I happen to die, transplant my left eye to yourself. After a month or so you'll be able to release the genjutsu. You know what, just shut up, they said in a choir. After that little chat they were found by Kakashi and Sakura, and after getting healed they used the 6 paths and released the jutsu and the tailed beasts. After seeing themselves out of that dreaded jutsu they began to cry. Thanks for getting us out of there, kid. You don't know just how cramped up that place was, said Kurama with all his brothers nodding in agreement with the orange fox. Nah, no biggie, it was nothing guys, said they, told, giving them his foxy grin that made Kurama smile. But then he saw the kit's arm. The hell happened to your arm, Kit? Asked the fox. Well, you see, how should I put it? It was Sasuke, wasn't he? Said the furball after he was the Tami's arm. How did you know? Said the knuckle-headed ninja. Even a monkey could have caught on to that if it saw you two side by side, but anyway, you going to be alright? Deadpanned the fox. Yeah. Worry not, such a cool shinobi like me will never go down. Said the blonde. After that he closed his eyes, concentrated, and for himself and Sasuke appeared new hand as good or even better than their old ones. How did you do that, Dobi? Asked Sasuke, impressed by the knucklehead shinobi. Yin-yang release, really handy stuff, you know. Now Kurama want to come back to me? Asked Naruto. Yes. Roared Kurama, but to his surprise the other tailed beasts answered along with him. Even Shukaku and Yuki, or at least a half of him. Why leave me 8-0? What, you 11, me lone? Asked Killer Bee, which happened to come and thank Naruto. Relax Bee, I want this in case anything may happen, said the Octobull. You all okay with this, guys? Asked Naruto. Hell yes, it's gonna be a party, said Shukaku. Why not? Said Son Goku. Got nothing else to do. Replied Kakuo and Saiken. It would be an honor to have you as our Jinchuriki. Said Matabi along with Isobu and Chome. Well, guess it's settled then. "'Kay guys, let's have all a great time as a big family," said Naruto while having one of the biggest possible smile. After that he entered Six Paths Sage mode, stood still for about 10 seconds and then came back to normal. Then he made a couple of hand signs, invoked the altar necessary for the 8 trigram seal, and then he shouted, "Seal." Much to his own dislike, taking in all 9 beasts or 8 because of Kurama and Yuki being halves, was much more painful than he gave it thought. After that he made a quick mental, after this straight to Ichiraku's. Much to the others' surprised and a couple of questions about how they knew all that he knew, he said, "Gotta give the credit to Super Gramps for all that. Also he fixed my chakra control issues." All was well for a bit, and he also saw the Ina Shika Chokombo, Hinata, Kiba and Akamaru, Shino and Bushy Brow along with Tenten. Much to his and Kakashi's dislike, Bushy or Brow Sensei or Guy was in hospital after using the 8 gates to whoop Madara's ass, but in the end he got rescued by Naruto just in the nick of time. Then after a while it happened. "What's this?" asked Ino. "This? No, it can't be," said Naruto. "You got to be kidding me. This ain't right," screamed the beasts within Naruto and Yuki within B. "What's up, yo?" asked a worried B. But before anyone's question was answered she appeared, Kagaya. After she emerged she bolted to brag Naruto's neck, which thought it would be the end of him until he realized something. "You aren't Kagaya?" he said as he did not fell Black Zetsu, and also this Kagaya, her power it seemed more diluted, like a handful of water out of a ocean. "Yang one, you are right and at the same time wrong. I am Ototsuki Kagaya, but now I am using a shadow clone in order to speak to you, or did you think that only you could pull this sort of feat?" she asked. And once more Naruto felt like he was in the academy and he failed miserably. Then he let out a heavy sigh and asked, "What do you desire from me, Kagaya? Right now you're using a clone, meaning if you receive enough damage you go poof," said the blonde. Everyone was frozen, even the Teme was a sitting duck. The only ones that had the intention to give Kagaya a piece of their mind were the tailed beasts within Naruto. "Hey young one, or should I say Uzumaki Naruto, what I wish is not mere revenge. But worry not, for I shall not kill you, instead I shall use my last bit of power and send you to another world." "And why would you do that for? I know I am giving you ideas, but you'd use less power by stabbing me rather sending me to another world," replied the blonde with a smirk, ready to join the cages in the afterlife. "Why, you ask? Call it a whim," she said as he opened a black gate and tossed Naruto into it, but not before he summoned to his back a large scroll that he prepared for what he called apocalyptic worst-case scenarios. After that he was swallowed by the void. The gate closed and Kagaya laughed and said, "Have a good time in your new home, Uzumaki Naruto, for you shall have your own ceiling which you'll have to get used to, but anyway I wish you the best of luck." After she said that, the clone dispelled in a big poof of steam and everyone fell on their knees knowing that the hero they wanted to celebrate with was gone. Maybe to never return to them ever again. Konohana. A week had passed since the war ended, but at the price of many and also at the price of Naruto. After that week a large funeral has held for Naruto, at which all the cages and daimyos came from all over the nation in order to show their respect the one who saved the world. There wasn't anyone that day which didn't cry the lost hero. The greatest hit was taken by Hinata, that knew that she would never see her loved one ever again. Then there was Sakura, Sai, Sasuke along with Kakashi, who were remembering all the good and bad times that the #1 hyperactive knucklehead ninja was with them, and by doing so they cursed their lack of power even against a crappy version of Kagaya. This happened to everyone that ever knew Naruto, and they all had the same thoughts. Why couldn't it been me, or, if I was stronger, but all that had no sense. Feeling bad wouldn't bring Naruto back. Somewhere between dimensions. Kid, wake up, please, 5 more minutes, said Naruto as he yawned and fell asleep once more. 5 more minutes? Alrighty kid, I will give you one hell of 5 minutes, mumbled Kurama to himself, but the beasts gulped at the thought of what Kurama may plan for the poor boy. Wake the hell up, brat, shouted the fox, almost giving our poor hero a heart attack. What was that for Kurama? You could have killed me, yelled the young shinobi. Sorry, it's just that you seem so relaxed while we are stuck in between dimensions, said the fox. Well, sorry Naruto, but here I have to agree with Kurama. Sight, I can't just sleep at a time like this. It's like giving death your life and letting it toy with you, said Gyuki. Okay, alright, I got no sleeping on the job. Now then, allow me to get us out of war, said Naruto with a smile. Just try not killing us in the process, okay kid? Deadpanned the fox. Roger that, Captain Kurama, said with a serious tone the young blonde, which earned him some chuckles from all the beasts, Kurama included. After that, Naruto entered his 6 paths mode and focused, ignoring all things except the universe through he searched for the nearest dimension. He had found it. Then he opened his eyes, revealing the Sharingan that he received from Madara, and then in a flash of yellow he entered the new world. Hope everyone back in the village is doing fine, though Naruto. UK village of Cheddar, 5th of July. It was a beautiful night in which the only thing that made noise was made by the slight wind that was blowing. And there was a wonderful full moon, a full moon of the most beautiful tin of red that there was. Walking the country roads of that village was a tall man about 1.85 meters with short black silky hair. He was wearing a red coat, and underneath it he had a Victorian-like black silk jacket over a white shirt with a Victorian-styled tie, and for pants he had long black pants. In the end he had a big red hat with gray straps buttoned to it. Next to this he had a pair of glasses with red slim lens that allowed anyone to see his red eyes, and as for a strange touch, he wore white gloves with stars on them and some writing. The man stopped for a second to admire the wonderful setting that he found himself within. Then he said, "How beautiful, in nights like this, it make me want to have a bite to drink." "Yes," he said as he was looking towards the moon, "I couldn't imagine a more perfect evening." UK outside of Cheddar, strategic tent. "Okay, can you please repeat yourself?" said a police officer. "Sir Integra Fairbrook Wingate's Helsing, is it? Very well, I will start again. They're ghouls, and the village of Cheddar has become a den of ghouls," said Sir Integra. She was a tall woman with blonde hair and blue eyes, and also a beautiful visage. She wore a pair of glasses and sported a out made of a light brown tone jacket and pants, along with a white tie with a cross of silver strapped to it, and under she had a shirt of the same color as the tie. And she also has made over the years quite the passion out of smoking, not as a hobby but more of stress reliving habit created to calm her. After a while she gave the gentle man that asked to repeat herself the basic info about ghouls, how they come into being and how to get rid of them nice and tidy. There is only one sketch about them. The ghouls are creatures created from dead men and women from which blood is drunk before or after death. In order to get rid of them, their creator must be destroyed. And that creator, she said, is a vampire. At her statement the police officers froze, questioning everything that they knew. After that she gave the police officers and bureaucrats a slight resume on the role of the Helsing organization and its history. Then that means that somewhere in Cheddar there is a vampire that controls the ghouls, a monster from the pits of hell. Send in all the troops you wish, all the man that you have under your command, they will end up dead or worse, become a vampire. At that statement all the ones in that tent excluding Sir Integra and her butler gulped in fear. Then asked on how to get rid of that demon, she told them about Helsing's special agent. After that and some more questions everyone calmed and waiting for that agent to come and fix everything up. Back to Naruto. The blonde was feeling dizzy and could barely see straight. He never could have thought that traveling between worlds felt like being hit by a 200 miles per hour speeding Gamabunta. After a bit he came back to his senses, only to find himself in a forest, in the power of night. It wasn't all that bad, he said to himself as the moon was shining over the land. The one thing that bothered him was the fact that the moon was shining with a red luster which gave the young sage a headache. "You all right, Naruto-san?" asked the innocent Matabi. "Don't worry, the kid was worse than this and he lived," said Kurama while flashing a toothy grin. "Kurama is right, this is nothing compared to what I have been through," told Naruto the flame cat in order to calm her. "Really, Matabi? For Kami's sake, did you think that our Jinchuriki would get down from some crappy dimension travelin'?" said the prideful Shukaku. "Sorry, it's just that I am worrying about all Jinchuriki have 9 of us inside them, you know." The cat replied to the tanuki. "Hello there, Naruto," said a voice. Even if the person wanted to surprise Naruto, the young boy could say who he was talking to. "Hi there, Super Gramps, how are you? Or more important, how the heck did you find me?" said the blonde. "And here I thought that I would catch you off guard, but guess it's not today. Anyways, how I found you, I hear you asking. Simple, my boy, your chakra is now so powerful, and if you didn't notice, you have the Rinne Sharingan like my mother. Finding you was as simple as following a rope," he said, ending with a smile. But Naruto, on the other hand, what he said as his jaw dropped. In the next second he summoned a mirror only to see his oceanic blue eyes replaced with red Rinnegan-like eyes with 6 tomo. "What the hell happened to my eyes, Gramps? Is there a way to turn this off?" he said as he was begging the sage for an answer on his knees. "Ha ha ha, worry not, as you can turn off your eyes, and also I will tell you why you gained this dojutsu." After saying this, he placed his hand on Naruto's forehead and let the knowledge flood him. "Ah, so my eyes became like this from Madara's Sharingan combined with Hashirama's chakra and a little drop of Sasuke's blood that entered my system along with some chakra as well. Well, it's nice and all, and thank for the user's manual for the eyes, can't wait to use them," said and exited Naruto. "I am happy to hear that this newfound power doesn't scare you, Naruto, but be careful, for I felt great evil in this world." "Please take care, son," said the Sage of 6 Paths. "Yeah, I felt it too, Gramps. But don't worry, I was able to make almost all the bad guys straighten up, so whatever challenge this world will throw at me, I shall take it on, headstrong, all the way, so I will never have regrets. You know that, it's my ninja way," finished the blonde as he gave the old sage one of his grins, and then he saw the old one leave. "So who's up for some exploring?" Naruto asked the tailed beasts. "Well, I don't know what may come in our way, but I say hell yes. Let's go and show this world the power of the 9-tailed beasts and the new Sage of 6 Paths," said Kurama, earning himself a round of cheers from his siblings. "The new Sage of 6 Paths, that is an awesome nickname, Kurama, so what are we sitting here for? We have ourselves a whole new world to explore," said the new sage as he started on his epic journey, but little did he know what sorts of wacky new friends he would find himself. The forest of Cheddar. Running away from the demonic ghouls was Sarah's Victoria, a 17-year-old female police officer that was sent to enforce the law in the village of Cheddar. Currently she was running and shooting at those undead bastards that were trying to rip her apart. After a bit she got free from the grasps of death, but destiny had another thing in mind for her. Suddenly appeared a priest with shark-like teeth in front of her. She tried to shoot him, but to no success as he sprinted to her and said, "It's no use running," he said as she could see him laughing like a madman, and tried to shoot him down but with no success. As he suddenly sprinted to her and immobilized her by grabbing her arm tightly, and when she finally shot him in the head as she was at point-blank range but with no result, as the priest stared at her and said, "What a waste to kill you here, but I can't allow a vampire with free will ruining around," he was saying as he grabbed her neck and said, "Then, first I am going to have some fun with you. Then I am going to drink your blood, slowly, and make you join your friends in my army." After that she let out a terrified scream that made Naruto shiver as he felt the fear in Sarah's scream, and he said, "Someone's in danger, I have to help," he said, but then he heard, "Okay kid, but be wary as there is a lot of darkness. I felt that here is something that would make even Madara turn around. Just be careful. You worry too much," ended. "I felt that and I even got the shivers, but there is someone in danger, and by the looks of it there's no chakra in this world, but something dark, ancient at work. But even with all that I must honor the legacy of Super Gramps, and I can't just sit around and do nothing as someone is ready to have a talk with the Shinigami. That would also stain my name as the son of the 4th Hokage, you know," said Naruto. "All right kid, let's do and save the day," deadpanned the fox. After this little chat, Naruto used his unhuman speed to head towards Sarah's and save her from certain death. He got there in 10 seconds only to see the blonde being held hostage as a red-coated man appeared before them. But little did he know that this very moment would change his life. The forest of Cheddar. Sarah's was sure that she would die, but before the priest could do anything he froze. And so did his goons. After a bit he saw a man wearing a reed coat, a big hat and slim lensed glasses. Then he asked, "Who the hell are you?" "Your death," said the red-coated one. "My death? Oh really, my god. This is pathetic," said the priest as he laughed slowly before letting Sarah's go and snapping his saying, "Kill him." At the snap of his fingers the ghouls under his command pulled up dozens of guns and started to shoot at the man who came to Sarah's rescue. Strangely, the man was having an immense grin on his face as he got hundreds of bullets blasting away the flesh off him as he stood still, like was waiting for it to stop. Naruto and Sarah's watched in horror as the man was decapitated by what seems like little kunai that came out of the things that the undead demons held in their arms. In less than a minute the fire stopped as the red-coated one's body, or what was left of it, hit the floor. Then the priest came in like taking a walk to see what was left of the idiot that dared to call himself his death. "Is that the best you've got?" said the mad priest as he began to laugh so hard that it echoed through the night. The young Naruto was ready to uncloak his presence and jump into the rescue, but before he could do that, he felt it. A great power and dark, so dark that it even made the tailed beast felt fear for their lives. Then they began to hear laughter, once that could put even Orochimaru to shame. It was in the beginning a light chuckle, but as the moon above stared to reveal itself the chuckle began to sound like the Shinigami's laugh. Then from the red moon Naruto and everyone else saw bats descent upon the dead body, and after that Naruto saw something unreal. The mont's blood came back to him and stared to heal him. At the same time Integro revealed to the policemen and other around that Hellsing's special agent was a vampire. A vampire? They all said, shocked, and then Integra began to say the following. "You see, humans make poor vampire hunters. They're frail, they're mortal, they're corruptible for thy mind and soul. The most effective weapon against a vampire is another more powerful vampire. The Hellsing organization has such a creature in its menagerie, and let me assure you gentlemen, our vampire has power beyond imagination," and with this she ended her speech. Back in the forest Naruto saw the impossible. A dead man coming back to life as his blood came back to him as a storm enveloped him as his limbs and destroyed body were coming back into existence. And as he stood back to life he had a grin of outmost bloodlust with his red eyes and razor-like teeth were showing. The priest along with Naruto and Sarah's were dumbstruck by the mont's power as they felt as if staring in death's eyes. "What in the hell is that thing?" said Kurama. He knew that even Shukaku had enough power to take that man down, but the darkness of his power and emotions were otherworldly, thought the fox, as his ability to sense emotions made him think that something wasn't right, that man or thing was beyond insanity. After that little mental he, his siblings, Naruto and the others saw as the man pulled out of his coat a silver gun. Even if Naruto could simply tell that that weapon that the man was holding was like the others that were used to shoot the man down, but with no result as he just seemed to be immortal. Then the man crossed his arms and started to fire. The shoots were so powerful that one was enough to blast the head and chest of one of the undead bastards, then turning him into sand. As the red one continued to shoot, taking down tens of ghouls, as he was taking a break to reload, the priest asked how he could be killing them. "They're ghouls, wait, it must be those bullets." As the vampiric priest ended his sentence he was the red one with an animalistic smile on his face. The silver cross of Manchester Cathedral was melted down in order to make these 13mm explosive shells. "Nothing I shoot ever gets back up again," said the red vampire with his red eyes glowing and his teeth showing up in what seemed to be a smile. "This is insane. First he gets shredded, then he comes back to life, and now he's turning the tables around in his favor with that weapon of his. Just what have I gotten myself into this time?" said Naruto as he gulped down heavily at the things that he saw. Then the other vampire said, "But why fight in order to save these pathetic humans?" said the vampire as he realized just what he was dealing with. Then after finishing what he had to, his hand twitched. In the next second he was behind Sarah's, using her as a literal human shield against the other vampire. Naruto was ready to jump in, but Gyuki along with Kurama and Shukaku smacked some sense into their Jinchuriki, telling him to wait and see how things played out because he could do something that he would regret. Naruto wanted to do something and save the girl, no just stay around and let her die, but knew that a rash decision like rushing in at a time like this could mean the end of the girl. Then again he had a strange feeling that the red monster would help her and end this mess. He knew that was probable ever since why would he get killed and then come back to life just to kill some demons for some fun and let the girl die. But then he had his gut feeling that rarely let him down. Then he mentally said, "Please, save the girl, mister." Then he let it all in the hands of fate to see how this would play out. Don't take a single step. The girl is the last survivor, don't you want to save her? Be reasonable, I am not asking for much, just a little bit of help. You could look the other way, said the vampire priestess. Fear, the primordial fear of death that all animals had, has slowly beginning to show up in his eyes as he was grabbing on more tightly onto the girl, as the other vampire had a cold look in his eyes. Naruto was also having a hard time as he felt that he was going numb in his legs and arms from all the adrenaline that was being pumped into his blood, making him jumpy and nervous for the girl's fate. Then the red-coated vampire asked the girl, "Are you a virgin, my dear?" said the vampire with a toothy grin. "What?" mentally screamed Naruto along with the rest of the tailed beast that were dumbstruck by the red man's question. "Why do I keep stumbling upon perverts everywhere I go?" began to sob the blonde. "Do I attract them or something?" As Naruto was busy with his mental questions right after the red one's question, the girl had rather shocked expression. "What are you doing?" nervously asked the former priest. "I am asking if you are a virgin," said the red vampire with a cold look. "But, said Sarah's. "You bastard," said the priest as his eyes got larger as he knew what the other vampire had in mind as he was raising his gun. "Answer me," he demanded. "Yes, I am," said Sarah's as she was blushing. After that there was a bang, and the next thing that Naruto saw was a great hole in the girl's chest. He began to see white before his eyes. Then as the girl began to fall towards the cold ground, the vampire rushed with a mad smile and eyes glowing towards his vampire prey. The former priest was shocked. Then the next thing he knew, the red-coat vampire's hand was on the other side of his chest. You are," said the priest as the vampire turned his hand around while smiling, causing the priest's blood to gush out of the wound. Then he began to disappear in a blue flame, but not before saying his killer's name, Alucard. His voice hissed as he was no more. His killer on the other hand smiled in joy of his kill. Naruto was filled with sorrow for the girl, but before he did anything he felt something. "No, this ain't right. She should be dead from that bastard," he said to himself as he began to cry. Then the vampire walked towards the young police girl that he shoot right in the heart to see her staring at him. "Moon. I had to shoot through you in order to pierce his heart. I'm sorry, but you're dying and there's no time left. The choice is yours. What do you want to do?" he asked. Naruto then slowly and carefully climbed up a tree in order to see the girl stretching her arm out towards the man, with her eyes full of tears and awful memories flooding her mind. Then Naruto felt something strange from that red man. It was something odd about it. He could not quite put his finger on. He made the decision to see what shall happen. Then the young girl raised her hand towards the dark sky, towards the moon. As she dropped her hand, the red one caught it and his patterned gloves began to glow red. Yet again Naruto felt it, that strange power emanating from the man. "Police girl, tonight is ended, a beautiful night," he said as he sinked his fangs into her neck, slowly drinking her blood, making her wound close up and blood to return to her. After a minute he let go of the girl's neck, licking any blood that he missed as the wound that he made into her was closing up, leaving 2 black dots behind. What was that? Wondered Naruto, as that was the second time he saw the Shinigami being ripped off today. Dunno Kit, maybe some sort of Edo Tensei. No, that can't be it. That girl was near death's door. It's next to impossible to use Edo Tensei, especially on oneself. But it also looked like some healing technique, but I can swear on Kami that I felt her die then come back to life, but only with a darker presence and power about her, like she became a Jinchuriki or something. But anyway, that man is both dangerous and interesting. Just don't piss him off and end up like that guy. Got it, Kit? Said the fox. Got it, Dad. Anyway, be on your toes. They are about to leave, replied the blonde. Will he ever listen? Said the fox. Don't worry, Kuruma, you know that Naruto is saying that only because he's barely waiting to test his might in this new world. But back to what's important. I am going to try and find B and ask him how is everyone back in the elemental nation. So relax, said Gyuki or Octopops. Now police girl, time to go home, said Alucard. Alright, time to get moving, said Naruto to himself. Alucard slowly walked through the forest holding Sarah's bridal style and seeing the peaceful expression that she had. While Naruto was careful concealing his presence and keeping himself out of sight with Jiraiya's Maizigakure jutsu that erased his scent and made him invisible, allowing him thus to follow the vampire without getting busted and maybe killed. After about half an hour of walking, Naruto saw a tall blonde woman that was smoking. Apparently she was scolding the coded freak and not getting killed. Actually it seemed that the man was enjoying being scolded by the woman. What a strange fellow he was, Naruto's thought. After 2 or 3 minutes of scolding the woman along with the code-wearing man and the girl and some old coot got up in some kind of machine and got going. Interesting thing, this machine reminds me of that train that I saw in the Land of Snow. But this one look a lot better, it's smaller, faster, and it's looking good as well. I wonder if I can get my hands on one of those, said Naruto yet again to himself as he didn't want to give out his position in any way. I guess you could buy one of those, but it would cost you a little fortune. But hell, it'd be awesome to steer that thing, ha ha ha. Said the Shukaku. I think that you're right, but indeed it would be a blast to ride one, replied Naruto to Shukaku. The other tailed beasts suppressed a little shiver that they got at the thought of Naruto being in charge of such a machine. But now back to the story at hand. After 2 hours of running after the Helsings and company, he saw right ahead a massive mansion. Thankfully there was a hill to which he headed in order to gain cover, but to also scout the area and gain info on how to get in and get some answers to his many questions. Picking the hill was a brilliant idea as he got the best view of the Helsing manor and the security that it had, and let me tell you man, it was something. The young shinobi gulped at the idea of getting past the small army that provided the manor's security, but then he used his regular sage mode in order to scan the area, but immediately he breathed easily as he felt that the military here about of a good genin to low-level chunin in terms of fight power, but then he got the shivers as he felt a great and dark power that made him snap out of his scouting. Yep, that old red alright, just that Teme has enough power in here to get me all riled up, said Naruto. Then he exited his sage mode in order to enter his mindscape. There when he opened his eyes was in the usual sewer-like great hall while being surrounded by the 9 beasts. So how do you guys think we should handle this one? Any suggestions? How about going in using my sand to trap everyone and demand answers, said Shukaku. That would have worked if we were rogue nin and tried to get info out of Konohana, but I think that we would just get killed by Old Red, said Naruto as he told his friends Alucard's nickname. At that same time Alucard had a little sneeze and thought that it was the vampire priest talking about him in hell. Thing that OU course made our favorite vampire to let out a toothy grin as he was heading toward the room where Ceres was sleeping. Why not ask them nicely to answer to our questions, said the innocent firecat Matabi. I think that they would just kill us for just suddenly jumping in on them, as by the looks of it this place may be like a village or nation secret. But still nice try Matabi, said Naruto with a smile in order to cheer up Matabi. Let's flood the place out and demand they answers as pay for getting the water out, said the shy Isobu. Even if as he was never the type to suggest this kind maneuver, it was strange nonetheless. No, it won't hold. Blast in front of the house of volcano? Said Son Goku. They will just kill us faster and with more reason to do it as well Su. No, boil them alive? Said Kakuo. No, poison them? Said Saiken. No way. Summon rain and twisters? Suggested Chome. Niet. Make them crispy with a bit of lightning, said Octopops. That'd be funny but no. Go ahead and make havoc and find the boss, then explain them what we want and toss the red bastard around like a rag doll. Does it sound nice to you Naruto? Asked Kurama. It's perfect Kurama. Best plan of the day. Began to cry in joy Naruto, causing the other tailed beasts to faint a bit. Fact that made Kurama burst into laughter at the sight of a battle-ready Naruto and his dumbstruck siblings. Well, thanks for the suggestions guys. Let's get ready to show them the power of the ultimate tag team, said the blonde with an inspiring tone that earned him some smiles and nods for his tailed companions. And thus Naruto exited his mindscape in order to begin Operation Breakthrough. Inside Helsing Mansion, Integra was having a moment of peace for herself. Having to run the family business along with keeping Alucard on a short leash and now having to battle against the only enemy that Alucard couldn't just shoot. Paperwork. To be more precise, the paperwork needed to make Sarah's a part of Hellsing ever since she was now a vampire, along with budget requests for her gear and testimonies on how the bloody hell did a police officer end up becoming a vampire. In short, it was hell on earth. But thanks to her long train of experience from Alucard's little rampages, she was able to finish all the bloody paperwork in about half an hour. Now she was enjoying a cigar along with some tea made by her butler Walter C. Dornas. Walter was a tall man just a little shorter than Alucard, with a nice black hair that he kept in a ponytail and blue eyes and the habit of having a monocle. His attire was made up of gray slacks, a white shirt with a purple tie and a vest of the same color. His appearance could remind some of a nice docile grandpa, but ooh boy, he was scary when he was pissed. "So Miss Hellsing, what do you think of our new addition to the staff?" asked Walter. "I don't know, to be honest, Walter. This is really strange, and especially for Alucard, but having a new vampire and one created by Alucard, I can say that we may have on our hands the next trump card of Hellsing," she said as was ready to drink her tea, but unfortunately there was a big explosion at the manor's gates that made her drop her tea, but she didn't get burned as it landed right next to her. Never minding the tea, she turned around to see a sphere-like ball of energy that blew up the front gates and to see in the distance someone rushing towards the front gates. Right then her phone rang. She immediately picked up and nonchalantly said, "The bloody hell is happening down there, damn it?" She roared at the phone. "We apologize for this, Miss Hellsing, it took us by surprise," said sheepishly the commander of the Hellsing forces. "I don't want excuses. IWHANT to know WHO the hell is attacking us," said roared again. In the front of the manor, Naruto was having some fun with the elite soldiers of Hellsing, finding himself in need to dodge bullets, grenades, smoke bombs and other kinds of weapons that the Hellsing force tried to use in order to kill the blonde, but to no result. The commander at Integra's order used his binoculars in order to see what they were dealing with, and he remained baffled by the enemy's look. "Miss Hellsing, you aren't going to believe it, but. No more buts, Commander. Tell me, who are we fighting against?" "It's a boy," said the commander. "What?" yelled Integra at the thought of having a single boy destroying the Hellsing armed forces. "It must be a vampire. One may be as strong as Alucard in order to pull this kind of feat." "Commander, proceed with the anti-vampire battle tactics," said Integra. "Beep, beep, Commander?" asked Integra, but before she could say anything she heard it. The sound of nothingness. That could mean only one thing: the Hellsing armed force was down. "Damn it, by a mere boy? How is this even possible?" she roared. Naruto on the other hand had some fun, but I was short-lived. The bullets were fun to dodge as they were really fast, but was able to see them in slow motion thanks to his training. The grenades were just a glorified version of the explosive tags and the soldiers outright pathetic. He thought that he'd have more fun than this, but his expectations were crushed. And we were think that we would make it half dead. How boring, even your little friend Konohamaru could have done better than these sorry excuses for a soldier," said Kurama. "Well, I kind of cheated by using the shadow clone jutsu, and we used up a tailed beast bomb, even if it was the super mini one," cited the blonde. "Now let's wrap this up and get our answers." "But how are you going to find the boss of this place?" said Shukaku. "Sage mode, the solution of all problems. Why did I even bother to ask?" cited the Sand Tanuki. "Because you get exited and tend to forget things," answered Sun. Then Naruto went into sage mode and concentrated on the woman's aura that he got a fell of in the woods. Then he got a direct pinpoint and said, "This was easier than I thought." Then after walking around the mansion for a bit and after dodging all the traps in his way, he finally found himself into a long corridor that led to a massive wooden door. "Walter, go and try to stop that bloody thing, or at least stall it until Alucard decides to come," said a concerned Integra. "I shall do my best in stopping this foe," said the butler as he bowed and strapped on his black gloves that next to stylish came in with 5-meter or longer deadly wires. "But I cannot guarantee its safety," he finished with a smile on his wrinkled face. Naruto saw the old man exit the door and felt that he was no ordinary grandpa. His fighting power, he felt that he almost stared at Sarutobi Gigi. So wanting not to end his life and also get what he wanted, he did the following. "Hello there, mister. Sorry for the mess downstairs, but I wanted to have a little talk with your boss about some matters that interest me." he said smirking. Oh really, you damned demon, and why should I believe that you just want to talk as you suggest? Asked the butler with the utmost pissed look on his face. If it makes you feel better, I will let you strap those wires that you're so proud of around me, and if I try anything funny it's your call, Gramps. How did you know that? Never mind, fine. Just you wait here until I set up some tea, alright? No problem with me, but just make it quick, alright? After this the butler slowly came to his master's office, shocked and wondering just how did that young man see his wires. Usually it was when it was all over, but he seemed to notice them ever since he went to see just was the attacker. What are you doing in here, Walter? Asked Integra with a vein seeming to be ready to pop on her forehead, while giving him a stern and annoyed look. Well, Miss Helsing, it looks that our attacker desires to have a talk with you about something. And right now he in the hall waiting for me to set up tea. He said sheepishly, smiling while wiping off the beads of sweat that formed on his head. He wants to talk. After he blew up the front gate and made all my staff seems like some bloody babies? Fine, whatever, just made the damn tea already. 5 minutes. Walter opened the door and made a sign for Naruto to come in. When Integra saw him she couldn't believe her eyes. Right before her stood a young man, about 17 or 18, with a slim build and sun-kissed blonde, spiky blonde hair and eyes of the most beautiful shade of blue and 3 whisker-like marks on each cheek. As for his attire, he had a headband with some symbol on it. A bright orange jumpsuit with black pants and a large scroll strapped on his was not what he had in mind, this boy. She had in mind someone with a lot of scars and a more muscular build, but now wasn't the time to argue with looks but facts, and what this wanted that he came out of nowhere and almost took down all of Helsing in less than a night nonetheless. Welcome to the Helsing organization. I am Sir Integra Fairbrook Winget's Helsing, the head of this organization, and you boy? What's your name? Asked the prideful head of Helsing. Nice to meet you. I am Naruto Uzumaki, shinobi of the Konohana and the new sage of 6 paths. He said while giving his trademark fox-like grin. Naruto was impressed at how strong Integra looked, just like a cage. And also he admired at how nice she looked with the nice face, blue eyes and blonde hair. Shinobi? Konohana? Sage of 6 paths? You mean that you aren't a vampire? Asked the perplexed Integra. Yes, I am a shinobi, or you may call our kind ninja. As for how I got in here, I will get to that later. Why I am here talking to you? I want to know what's your connection to the red-coated man and just what he did to that young girl that he brought here. Asked with an honest tone and worry in both speech and eyes. As for Integra, let's just say that a lot of old-fashioned English curses ran in her mind as Alucard not only brought back with him a new vampire but also a powerful troublemaker that was apparently a ninja. So you want to know about Alucard and what he did to the girl, am I correct? Yes, I do, replied the ninja. Well, the red-coated man as you call him is called Alucard and is a vampire, the strongest one might add. As for what happened to the girl, Alucard is the special agent of Helsing. We take on all kinds of jobs in order to take down all that is demonic and supernatural and may affect the life of man and the power of the British Crown. Alucard was on a mission in the village of Cheddar, tasked with killing a vampire priest that kidnapped, killed and made the people of the village into his undead army of ghouls. As I see from your look you saw all the fight. In order to kill the vampire, Alucard had to shoot through the girl so he could kill the bastard. Even if we don't know why Alucard transformed the girl into a vampire by sucking her blood. As for why she's a vampire now, when a vampire drinks the blood of a virgin of the opposite they turn them into a vampire. Hope you are satisfied with your answers, Mr. Uzumaki. Finished Integra. Naruto was astonished. So vampires are a thing here, huh? Neat, said Naruto to himself. Just be careful not to lose your chastity kit, said Kurama as he was laughing his tails off. Zip it for ball, said back Naruto as he was blushing. Thank you for your answers, Miss Helsing, and also you can call me Naruto, no need to be formal. Very well, told you what you wanted to know, now time to do the same for us. Tell us everything about from where you came from to your past, friends, skills and powers. Pretty please, said Integra with a smile all over her face. I knew that it would resonate to this, sighed Naruto. All right, I am going to tell you about everything that you want to know. Are you sure, Kit? You didn't have a calm life and I felt that you'll also tell them about me and the others. But I ask you again, Kit, are you sure about talking about these? Said the fox. Kurama, you already felt that they are trustworthy and you sure did feel my determination. Are you trying to make me back out, or do you think that just because this is a new world that I am afraid to talk about my life and who I am? Now you are just teasing me, you crafty old fox," said Naruto in his mindscape with a light chuckle. "That's the spirit, kid, don't let anything get you down. Walk forward fearlessly and with pride. Now then, allow me to tell you the tale of a gutsy shinobi," said Naruto as he began to tell Integra, Walter and Alucard, who was eavesdropping on his tale. In the beginning he told them about the raid on Konohana made by Madara, who was controlling the nine-tailed fox or Kurama, after about how he was looked at by the villagers and his childhood. After that he began telling about the academy and his poor result, and how later he made a friend or father in Iruka and how he saved him, and he saved Iruka from getting killed by Mizuki, who told him that if he brought the scroll of sealing to him so he'd allow him to graduate. He loved it when he said how he wiped the floor with the bastard using the shadow clone jutsu, and how Iruka gave him his headband, making him thus a genin, and how he ended up with Sakura, who he had a crush on, and the Teme and their lazy sensei Kakashi and the belt training. At the moment he remembered he felt the marks of Kakashi's finger just so. Then off to the adventures in the land of waves, along with the training he received and the bonds he made. The parts about Zabuza and Haku left Integra and company in awe as they heard how a 12-year-old took on an elite shinobi that was a special assassin as well and his companion. Then the training with Jiraiya on summoning technique, the Chunin exam, and the battle against Gaara and Orochimaru. After hearing what type of man Orochimaru was, Integra thought that he'd get along wonderfully with Alucard when not trying to steal his body. Then finally we went through the new Team 7 to the Gaara rescue, to the Sage training and the fight with Pain, and how he met his father, and how he made Nagato sacrifice himself in order to revive all those that he killed with his heavenly outer path. Samsara of life. Then he told them the Gokage events, and finally all the 4th Shinobi War, the meeting with Super Gramps, his fight with the Teme, and how he got stuck in their world. "That's quite a lot that you have been through, Naruto," said Integra, shocked at what she heard. The kid's life was a living hell, and all that because he held in check a demon. Hell, she does that with Alucard, but she never had the boy's life. She admired his bravery and the will to become someone acknowledged, thing that he did by following one dream, to become Hokage. Then they heard a slow clap coming from somewhere, but they didn't need to ask who it was, they already knew too well. "Ha ha ha ha, what a magnificent story, Naruto, from the demon brat to the saver of the village, but at what price? The loss of your loved ones gave you the power to march forward, and the memories of the good past that you barely had gave you strength when needed. You pressed forward even when people told you that there was no hope for you to grow stronger, but you showed them wrong, and thus you became the strongest. You impress me to no end, boy," said Alucard with a smile on his face. "Thank you, Alucard, right? That's the name that my master calls me by, but I have many other. Anyway, I want to ask of a favor. How can I help? I'd love to meet the tailed beasts they lay within you," said the vampire. "Well, as long as you don't do anything weird is all right, Miss Helsingin." "Walter C. Dornes, but you can call me Walter," said the Helsing butler. "Want to come along?" asked the blonde shinobi. "Why not? I am curious to see these demons that were tamed by your world," led Integra. "You mad, kit?" yelled the fox. "Relax, Kurama. You know that only me and you and the others have a word to say in my mindscape, and also why hide you guys away from them? After all I told them about you, so there is no logic to keep you hidden. Plus you can try and scare them if you want," replied Naruto. "On second thought you may be right, kid. Alright, now grab my hands and close your eyes," said the blonde as Integra, Walter and Alucard followed and grabbed his hands in their own in order to make sure it worked and closed their eyes. The next thing they knew was that they found themselves in a sewer. So this is the boy's mindscape. The mental strain that he went through may have been worse than he let on at first sight, said Integra as she felt pity for the boy. Quite the disturbing picture, ended Miss Helsing, added Walter. "It doesn't matter now, let's find the boy," said Alucard with a faint smile. "No need to search, I'm right here, guys," said the blonde. "But how did you find us?" asked the curious Alucard. "This is my mindscape after all, it wasn't that hard," said the blonde with a chuckle. "Now follow me," as he said that Naruto led them to a great chamber where there sat 9 skyscraper-tall beasts. At the sight of a jaw-dropped Integra at the sight of his tailed beast made Naruto want to laugh, but he held it as he knew that a pissed Integra wasn't a good choice. "Hello there, Helsing. My name is Kurama, or the 9-tailed fox, nice to meet you." "Hi there, I am Yuki the 8 Tails. Glad to meet you, I'm Chome the Seven Tails. Sup? I am Saiken the Six Tails. Kakuo here, nice to meet you, I am the Five Tails. Son Goku, the Four Tails at your service. Hi, my name is Isobu, I am the Three Tails. Glad to know you Miss Helsing, I am Matabi, the Two Tails. And the best to the last, hi there you three down there, I am Shukaku of the Sand and by the order of numbers I am the One Tail. Amazing right? Asked Naruto. Yes it is boy, I am truly grateful for allowing me to see such mighty fellow monsters and feel their power up close. Smiled Alucard. Well time to go, said the blonde as he and the others were back on the real world. Then Integra stood up and said, Naruto Uzumaki, I hereby ask in the name of Helsing that you may please lend us your power and the power of your tailed beasts. Said Integra, as she knew that it was foolish but she still gave it a shoot. First of all Kurama and the others aren't some kind of idmies, they are my friends or you could say brothers. But I do want to join you as I felt that what this organization is for the good of the people. I shall fight with Helsing for the happiness of all man, so they won't ever feel the pain and sorrow of loss. Said the shinobi as he once more gave one of his fox grins. Thank you Naruto. Tomorrow I shall make the paperwork needed to make you a member of Helsing. But before that I ask of you to show us tomorrow all the skill that you possess, and also he will need to get you some guns and some new clothes. She said as she was staring at Naruto's ripped up jumpsuit. Okay, tomorrow it is. So can I get some food and a bed? Of course sir, said Walter. Just call me Naruto, K. Now then CYA tomorrow, he said but before closing the door he said. And don't even think that I will wear one of those military get-ups. I will give you a rough sketches on what I will wear K. God damn it, he didn't forget. Oh well some custom-made clothes aren't much so fine, she said to herself. Looks like we got ourselves 2 new trump cards instead of 1 wouldn't you say so Integra? Asked the vampire visibly smiling and barely waiting to see what the young shinobi was capable of doing. Yes, we did Alucard, and 2 very powerful ones as well. 6th of July Helsing Manor. After having a good dinner at the Helsing Manor, our blonde hero went to sleep in order to replenish his strength. Walter had quite the hard time keeping up with the food ever since the boy, despite his slim build could really pack his food. Never did the Helsing butler cook so much in his entire life. That boy had what seemed like a bottomless instead of a stomach. But after an hour or so the blonde was patting his stomach and thanking for the meal. So Walter, can you show me where my room is please? No problem Naruto. But cut me some slack would you? I never cooked so much, and next to that I am no longer young, so wait a bit till I catch my breath. Said the butler as he was wiping his sweat of his face. Oh, sorry about that. I didn't have a meal in days. The shinobi war was so tense that I barely got to eat. Luckily I had Kurama's chakra to hold me up or else I might have died from starvation. But still you are amazing Walter. If I weren't already stuffed to death I could have kept going till tomorrow morning. Said the blonde with a laugh. Really? Thank you, it's really nice to hear that you enjoyed the meal. Now let's go, I will show you the room. Said Walter as he got up. After a bit, meaning like 3 or 4 minutes of walking and taking some stairs towards the basement they finally got to the room. Walter, said Naruto. What is it? Asked the butler. Why are we in the basement? Asked Naruto as he wanted to know why the heck we needed to have his room in the basement. Oh that. Well all the other rooms are used to store guns and ammunition or documents. Barely any are used for people to stay in them. There are a few empty rooms upstairs but those are used as rooms for very important guests, meeting rooms or the kitchen. And to clear all up the staff of Helsing sleeps here in case of attacks so we wouldn't take a heavy blow if the face of the manor was blown. Clarified Walter. So, does Integra sleep upstairs? Yes, she does. And next to that as you saw there is her office. Said Walter. Already knew that, but thanks. Said Naruto with a small smile. Alright get inside. Said Walter as he opened the door. In Naruto's surprise who thought that he would get a simple, soldier-like room it wasn't like that at all. The room was really nice in fact. It had a nice widescreen TV, a nice round table with flower vase, and even a bathroom with the best of all a nice big, fluffy bed with 10 pillows. Naruto let out a whistle as he saw all the room. Hope you like it, also the pajamas are under the pillow, in case that you didn't know. Said the butler with a smile. Nice room, thanks Walter. Said the blonde as he unstrapped the scroll on his back, opening it in order to reveal drawings written in runes. The blonde applied some chakra on one of the seals, making a small poof of smoke in order to reveal something like a blueprint. He gave it to Walter and said, "Give these to Integra. Those are the blueprints for my new outfit." "Pretty cool, right?" said Naruto with a happy tone. "Interesting choice for an outfit, I must say. But I shall make some adjustments in order to make it look even better." "When Alucard will see you, he will boil with envy," said Walter as he began to chuckle. "I am against changing the design, but I guess it's all right if I see Alucard green of envy at my new outfit. But try not to change it too much, please," said the blonde. "By the way, Naruto, how were you able to get these out of that scroll? I must say I am most curious about that," asked Walter. "Ah, this?" said Naruto as he placed his hand on the scroll as he unsealed a kunai. "This is called Fuinjutsu, or sealing jutsu. It can range from storage seals to special seals like ones that seal spirits or special abilities. In any case, there are a lot of different types of sealing techniques, but the storage one as you see here is the most common. And if you were wondering, seals can be written on almost anything. Scrolls like you see with this big guy, stones, water, trees, you name it, heck even on humans and spirits. And as for what they are written with, it depends on the technique, but most commonly they are written in ink or blood. Well, now if you excuse me, I got to sleep. And can you make me some ramen for breakfast? Please," said the blonde as he sealed back the kunai. "Thank you for the information, these seals may come in handy later on. But now try to get some sleep. Tomorrow you have a lot to do, and don't worry, there will be ramen." "Good night," said Walter as he left the room. "What a nice guy. And great cook as well," said the blonde. "Gotta say, Kit, this day worked better than I thought. But somehow instead of escaping war, we just jumped from one to another." "Just our luck," said Kurama with disappointment in his tone. "Well, we could have drawn the short straw and end up in some world where people battled against monsters our size. We should be thankful that we got here in the first place, and also got a job at the same time," said Sun. Meanwhile, in another dimension, a man with short brown hair and round glasses was having a series of unrelenting sneezes as his son was doing battle in some sort of biomech. "Well, guess you're right, son. We could have had worse than this," nodded the fox in agreement. "Now is not the time to talk but to sleep. I am dead tired and I don't want to hear you guys out of all people whining." "Good night," said Naruto as he fell like a corpse on the comfy bed as he instantaneously fell asleep. "Damn, he fell faster than Gaara on the days in which I let him sleep without threatening him that I will eat his soul or murder everyone in the village," remarked Shukaku. "He at least deserves a good night's sleep after all that he went through," said Kakuo. "Guess it good night then," said Chomei. As Walter left Naruto to get his rest, he quickly came to the room where Ceres was sleeping. In the room, next to Ceres was Alucard sitting on an old chair waiting for his little police girl to wake up. Meanwhile, Ceres found herself in a strange dream. "Where am I?" asked the police girl as she was looking around, trying to find something in what seemed a white void. Then suddenly the ground beneath her exploded, revealing hordes of ghouls that screamed in a choir. "It's a police girl." Then the background changed into a Naruto Maki one as she was running from the ghouls. Then she finally ran into Alucard, who had behind him a full moon. Her eyes widened and then Alucard asked, "Tell me, police girl, how does it felt to be a dead?" said the vampire with a smirk. Then Ceres looked down so she could see her chest, with a large hole in it. Then the vampire said, "But remember, you chose to walk the path of the Draculina," said Alucard as he got closer to Ceres with a toothy smile. Then he bit her, suddenly waking her up. Poor Ceres had the nightmare of her lifetime, but never minding that she looked around finding herself in a nice room, nothing like had Naruto had, but still nice. Then remembering that she had been shot, she raised up the top of the pajama and saw that her chest was fine, she breathed easily. But then she saw Alucard with a big shit-eating grin on his face. Then she let out a scream but calmed soon after. The vampire stood up, tightened up his tie and said, "Tell me, police girl, how does it feel now that you are a vampire?" asked Alucard. Then Ceres got out of her nightgown a mirror, looked a bit, and then she saw her sharp canines while a ding sound could be here and after, her scream of course. "You are too loud, police girl. I don't care that you are a vampire, you are still English, have some manners," said Integra as she was smiling and smoking at the same time, with Walter after young vampire sighed as her head fell on her knees. "So, I am a vampire. Sorry but, where am I? Asked Sarah's. This is our HQ. We are called the Helsing Organization. We are the monsters that protect England from the other monsters. And as for your condition, you will be working with us. Paused Integra as Walter handed Sarah's her outfit. Along with your good friend. Finished Integra. What good friend? Asked the puzzled Sarah's. Allow me to explain, young one. When that priest caught you, at that time someone expect Alucard heard you scream. He would have jumped to the rescue, but he feared that if he rushed in recklessly you might get killed, so he decided to sit out and let Alucard take on that madman. But don't worry, you will see him tomorrow and have a nice long chat. But for now we got other things on our hands. We have received a report about a string of vampire attacks. Go and kill the vampires. Said Integra with an imperative tone. Before heading out, Sarah's got on her outfit and a heavy caliber rifle. While she was following her master towards the helicopter that would get them at the site of the operation, she was wondering. Asking herself who could the person that followed she and her master all the way from Cheddar. Don't worry, police girl. You'll be pleased to see what an interesting man is the one who cared what happened to you. But now focus, we got a mission at hand. Said Alucard while having a smile full of delight. Then they took off into the sky. After an hour or so they arrived at the site of their new mission. Unknown location UK. Inside a house just as you would enter, the sight of slaughter could have made you scream. There laid a whole family ripped to shreds, not even the children escaped the claws of death. The house was ravished, the walls full of blood, and in the living room two vampires, a man and woman, painting the wall with the blood of the family, writing messages against God, and making an upside-down cross in the middle of all. After they finished, this is what one of the two said. So both of us will have eternal life. Said the man. Invincible vampires. Forever, said the woman, as the two were hugging each other. While the man was holding in his right, blood-stained hand a Uzi. Then, the doorbell rang. The male vampire went to check the door. He stood a little and then he found himself being shot countless times by Alucard, as he rocketed towards the floor, with screams full of pain. After hitting the ground, the door broke from all the shoots that went through it, only to revealing Alucard, who had the moonlight shine behind him. As the Helsing vampire rose his gun so he could finish the job, the other one picked up his Uzi and desperately shooting, hoping that he could kill his way out of the mess, all while laughing like a madman. But all was pointless as his enemy seemed unfazed by his assault. Then when he ran out of ammo, Alucard spoke. You can't change your body into mist or a bat. You can't heal any of your gunshot wounds, and now that you are out of bullets, you can't even defend yourself. And you dare to call yourself Nosferatu? You are disgusting, said Alucard while the other vampire was backing away. Then he sprinted towards escape, only to get shot over and over by Alucard, who was doing this with a smile on his figure. Then Helsing's pet put the young vampire out of his misery by shoving his hand into his chest, grabbing his heart and crushing it. As he did this, the corpse of the young one exploded into blue flames, but not before Alucard made sure that the fresh blood painted upon the wall across. Your turn, police girl, said Alucard. All nice and done for Alucard, but what about the police girl? Well, apparently she was atop the house where Alucard took down one of the demons, while the man got impaled by Alucard's hand. The girl made a run for her life, leaving her partner to take the appointment with death all by himself. As Sarah's heard her master's message, she replied. Yes, sir, said she while holding her rifle. What are you waiting for? Do it, demanded Alucard. Sir, she's already 600 meters away, said Sarah's. Imagine a third eye on your forehead and aim from there. If you are going to shoot like a human, you are going to miss like a human. But sir, aim right for her heart, don't worry, you'll put the bullet right through her. But, it's so dark and I don't have a scope, said she as Alucard appeared right behind her, standing on pole. Then he said, that's a human complaint, now it's time to make the shot like a proper vampire, said Alucard with what seemed to be the smile of a shark. Then Sarah's took the rifle to her shoulder, she blinked and her eyes became red. The space around her started to move at a quick pace until she saw her target. She stood still, took a breath and shot. The bullet arrived in the vampire's heart, sealing her death. While crying, she hit the cold road of the end, coloring it in bloody red. As her rifle was blowing out some steam, she said, it's such a big gun, yet I barely felt any recoil at all. It's pitch black yet I can see more clearly than in daylight, said Sarah's, scared at the sight of what she became. Good shooting, police girl, said the master towards his Draculina. It's all too fast, what on earth am I becoming, she asked herself. Then she looked at her hand and said, I am. After that she began to stare at the moon. Not yet, this is only the beginning, and there is a long road ahead of you, said Alucard. Then after that little mission they rode back home. With Ceres, even after all that happened in the mission, was still thinking about the mysterious man that followed her. Hellsing Manor. It had been a wonderful night for our shinobi. He had the best sleep in ages, not to mention the best grub right before bed. As he got up he saw some clothes nicely arranged and with a note on top. Naruto picked up the note that had written on it the following. Hello Naruto, if you are reading this it means that you woke up. As you see I left you with some new clothes, as I took upon myself the liberty of throwing the old ones into the trash bin. I suggest you get dressed and come upstairs for breakfast. As promised per the other night there is ramen waiting for you along with other delicacies. And remember after breakfast we shall have the skill examination over your powers. Hope that you felt good and please hurry up. Dearest, Walter. Wait, I left my clothes here the other night, and how did he get into my room? Damn that old man, he threw away my best clothes. Asked the baffled blonde, then as read down the letter he saw. Page S. Yes, I did force my way into the room. Bloody hell, that jumpsuit was all just rags. As he read the sentence he ripped to shreds the note, all while he was radiating a great deal of killer intent that was felt all across the mansion, giving everyone shivers, even to Alucard, who let out a smile. Guess the boy read the note. Never did I thought that he could exert such bloodlust, and all that just for a jumpsuit. I can't even begin to imagine how it would be to fight against him when he would protect something. Said Walter. Even him was taken by surprise by the boy's bloodlust that almost gave him a heart attack. Back to Naruto. He had on his hands on some black jeans along with a white shirt and shoes. To his unlike there was of course no orange. He got dressed and walked towards the dining room. Quite the suit you got there, kid, said the fox, teasing his container. Zip it, I don't want to hear it, especially when it's from you, replied the blonde. Don't be like that, you are breaking my heart, said the fox while snickering. Kurama, do you want me to slap some Torii seals onto you? Said the blonde. There was silence until he heard a gulp. Hee, thought so, said the blonde with a grin. Damn Kurama, the kid flamed you really good, said Shukaku. Bring that up once more and I will make you regret sharing the same Jinchuriki. Got it, sandy ass? Asked Kurama while directing his bloodlust towards his brother. Okay, you win, said the Tanuki, knowing full well that Kurama had quite the short fuse. After a while Naruto reached the dining room. There he saw Integra along with Walter, who he wanted to give him a piece of his mind, but then he saw the long table full of food, especially ramen. Forgetting about his little vendetta he took a seat ready to eat, but of course Integra had to ruin his date with food. Good morning Naruto. Did you sleep well? Asked Integra, who did her best to look like she gave a damn about how he slept. But after all that she saw the boy was capable of, it got her thinking that she should be nicer, a bit. Yeah, I had the best sleep in ages, and also thanks for the food and new clothes, said the blonde with a smile of gratitude while bowing slightly. I am glad to hear. Time to talk about the real matters at hand, said Integra with no beating around the bush. No need to talk, I already know the speech. I am joining because like I told you this is my wish. While I will be working with you I will take orders from you and executing missions. I want you to know that if I see something wrong about your orders I will not just obey like a little pet. I will question your resolve and motives, but never minding that I will explain to you, after I eat of course, all about my powers and how they work, said the blonde shinobi on a serious tone, with his deep blue eyes almost piercing Integra's cool. Well then, enjoy your meal, replied the Hellsing boss. The next half an hour was a literal freak show for Integra and Walter. They never saw in their whole life someone eating so much, well excepting Alucard, who was a vampire and well, he ate humans. As Walter asked why didn't he eat so much before sleep, Naruto just told him that was a before-bed snack. The statement almost made the two faint. But as all things come to an end, so did Naruto's meal. Man, I am stuffed, said the blonde while patting his stomach. Walter's cooking was like the one that gods received. The only problem was his ramen. To Naruto it lacked, how should he call it, punch. Well, you can't have everything in life now, can you? So ready for our little demonstration? Asked the gleeful Integra. Yeah, let's go, said the cheerful Naruto, having the chance to finally show off. Hellsing Manor Training Field. This is the training field of the Hellsing organization. Now before we start. Walter, give it to him, said Integra. Yes, Miss Hellsing, said the butler as he opened a suitcase in order to reveal Naruto's custom-made suit. This is the suit made after the blueprints that you gave me. I bested myself, I must say. The suit was almost an exact replica of the one Alucard wore, but Naruto had the red color of his jacket and pants a bit more intense, but not something extreme. It was more like reddish-orange and a black tie. Then came the best part, the sage coat, looking like the one he had when he rumbled with pain, but on the upper left and back it had the Hellsing crest along with its motto. We are on a mission from God. Sweet job, Walter, now allow me to change, said the shinobi, happy that he had a nice outfit, now having made peace of mind knowing that there was orange. Well, Alucard wears red, so what is wrong with orange? It looks well on you. Seems that last night I was really creative, said Walter, proud of his latest creation in the field of fashion, even if the paranormal fighter's fashion wasn't a really exact field with ever-changing trends like, wear beige in winter so you can give the chills to the cold-blooded werewolf. Well, let us begin, said Integra, barely waiting to see the full extent of the blonde's power. I'd love to, but it would be rude to begin without the other spectators, right Alucard? Said the blonde. And here I thought I'd take you by surprise, what a shame. But still it looks like you can fell other people, right? Asked the vampire. More like their fellings, and let me tell you, I could sense you from a mile away. Smirked the blonde, but then turned his attention onto a blonde girl, with a spiky ponytail and sapphire blue eyes. Hi there, my name is Naruto, Naruto Uzumaki. What about you, miss? Asked Naruto. Hello there, my name is Saras Victoria. Pleased to meet you, Mr. Uzumaki. And also sorry if I made you worried too much about me, said the police girl while blushing. And why wouldn't she? Naruto was really a piece of eye candy. Blonde spiky sun-kissed hair, ocean blue eyes and those whiskers on his cheeks and the lean muscular build. She was really felling that she found a real cutie, and at the same time someone that she felt like she could talk, even if she didn't know why. Aren't you scared of me? Saras asked the blonde while pointing to herself with her right index finger. Why should I be scared of such a beautiful and nice miss like yourself, Saras? Said Naruto while he himself found Saras interesting. She had a wonderful face, and those little fangs made her look like a cute little bat, and also she had quite the build and also her breasts were as big if not even bigger than Tsunade's. No Naruto, bad thoughts. Ah, why did I train with pervy sage? It looks like his perviness got to damn it, said the blonde shinobi as he blushed, while looking at Saras. Happily the felling was mutual. Ah, young love, so pure and innocent, said Walter in his mind while wearing a smile on his face. Nice of you Alucard to show up, but let us begin. Integra said in a tone that sounded like, start the fuck already. All right, before I start I must give you the summary about chakra and its abilities. Said Naruto. Chakra? Ah, yes, you did mention that when you told us about your past. Please continue, I am very interested in what this chakra is. Said Alucard. Okay, listen, chakra is like a shinobi's life energy. Chakra is the mold of physical and spiritual energy that flows in the body via the chakra network. Important tip, if a shinobi hits absolute zero chakra, then he or she shall die. Now the physical energy represents the energy collected from every single cell in the body, while spiritual energy is derived from one's mind or spirit. Both of these can be increased through training, exercise, study, meditation and experience, sometimes even via stimulus, but that is not recommended as it can take a heavy toll on the body. In other words, you can train to have greater stamina and it would also result in a more powerful chakra. As how it is used. First of all, the chakra is released from 361 nodes called tenkutsu or chakra points. As how to summon it, there are 12 hand seals that a shinobi can use, with additional ones for special techniques, but some techniques don't require these, so don't worry. The hand seals are, as Naruto began to show them, monkey, dragon, rat, bird, snake, ox, horse, tiger, dog, boar, ram, hare. By combining these hand seals you can obtain almost infinite number of techniques. As for the techniques themselves are called jutsu. There are 3 types of jutsu. Taijutsu or hand-to-hand combat that need no hand seal most of the times. genjutsu or illusion techniques that need a good chakra control, as it allows one to attack one of the five senses and thus manipulate the chakra flow and induce all kinds of illusions. Then finally there is ninjutsu, which include all techniques that range from being able to breathe fire, making a water dragon, creating whole forests, sealing things up down to summoning toads and calling a meteor on a mere whim, and much more. I give you my word. The part with the meteor was from a flashback of him fighting Madara, and boy did that man love himself some meteors. As for the jutsu, there are natural releases, which are fire, lightning, earth, water and wind. Each person being born with an affinity for a certain release, or maybe even two, and in really rare cases 3 releases. But unfortunately, like in real life, there are bastards that are blessed with exclusive powers. Those are mainly organ-related or special releases. For organs, a solid example would be Kimimaro. That man had a Kekkei Genkei or bloodline limit that allowed him to manipulate the level of calcium and bones in his body. Then there are dojutsu or eye techniques. The main ones are Sharingan, Byakugan and Rinnegan. For releases we have, let's say, wood, magnet, steel, explosion, crystal and dust. Don't you go laughing, because despite the name, the dust release grants the user the ability to dismantle things down to atoms, since the name dust release. And so much many more releases. After an hour or so he gave them the all you need to know about Kekkei Genkei guide, and how there are also yang, yang and yin-yang releases and what they do. What a long and fascinating list of powers. Shinobi sure are a mystery, and to think that there are still undiscovered powers. Said Alucard. Interesting, mumbled Walter. Now allow me to tell you that I do have some Kekkei Genkei myself. As Naruto said this, Alucard was having a big smile on his face, wondering what powers the young Naruto had at his fingertips. For organ-related I have the Sharingan, Rinnegan and Rinne Sharingan. He said as he showed them the eyes one after another, blinking in between, and this time Naruto had 3 Tomo on his Sharingan, as he had upgraded to the Rinne version. The red Tomo Sharingan reminded all of a vampire. Then they here quite impressed by the look of the Rinnegan, and then the Rinne Sharingan that looked like a fusion of the 2 eye powers. But don't think that these eyes don't come with more than a pretty look. The Sharingan can evolve to Mangekyo Sharingan and gain a unique pattern, while the normal Mangekyo would eventually blind user over time from the usage. I have the eternal version, meaning that I felt pain or got blind from usage. The eternal one would be achieved normally by having implanted in place of the old eyes new ones from a brother, with Mangekyo most preferably, as the pattern of the Mangekyo that got transplanted would be included within the old pattern. One can, let's say, awaken 2 Mangekyos, but we shall find that out in the future. As for abilities, some Sharingan come with special powers depending on the user, but there are the normal Mangekyo like Amaterasu, which are black flames that can be summoned almost anywhere and can burn 7 days and 7 nights without stopping, unless the user wants to, or the target of the flames is nothing but ashes. Then there is Tsukuyomi, which is a extremely powerful illusion, let's say. Tsukuyomi has the power to manipulate mass and time and or reality. If I wanted, I could just give you a glare and in 1 second make you experience 3 days or more of non-stop torture. Then the final power of the Sharingan is Susanoo, which is the embodiment of the user's will, so to say. You will see soon. Now Rinnegan, boy this is good. The Rinnegan allows the user power over the 6 paths that are. Human path. Allows the user to read minds or extract souls upon contact with the victim. Asura path. Allows the user to mechanize and augment their body. Diva path. Allows user to manipulate attractive and repulsive forces at his will. Example. Gravity. Naraka path. Allows user to use special restoration techniques and special interrogation ones as well. Other path. Allows user to revive the dead. If he has 6 paths Senjutsu chakra he doesn't die, but dies if it is used. Next to that there is the power to call upon chakra chains, even if I already have this power by being a Uzumaki, and for the last power of this path is also the power to create chakra receivers in the form of black needles. Preta path. Allows user to absorb attacks and transform them back into energy and absorb it. But can be also used as a chakra sponge. Well, as for Rinne Sharingan, it just has the same abilities as the other 2 but enhanced. As for special nature releases I got the following. Yang, Yin, Yin-Yang, Wood, Lava, Magnet, Boil, and I don't use Dust release ever since it requires really good chakra control. Something that I have but not good enough at the moment. After hearing of the boy's generous repertoire of powers, all were left thunderstruck, while gasping except for Alucard. Integra, who was smoking, was left open-mouthed, making her cigar fall. And also, if someone could read her mind, they could have heard a really loud jackpot. Integra was looking like she just won the lottery, only 100 times better. The boy was able to summon hellflames that could give Alucard a run for his money in terms of regeneration. Was able to rip out souls and read minds, augment himself, control gravity, revive the dead, and also absorb energy attacks. And there was also the thing with the ultimate illusion, the manipulated reality, and the Susanoo. Best part of all, he also told them that we was able to use the power of his friends. Mainly transform into them and launch a small, tailed beast bomb that made a nuclear warhead seem like a children's toy. And also the special releases. Oh boy, she struck gold. Big time. Also, Alucard was looking like a child on Christmas, with an animal-like large smile on his face and red eyes that if you looked into them you could see images of slaughter and excitement. Thankfully Naruto saw this and said, "Don't get your hopes up too much. Almost everything that I said about my powers I can't perform yet. The powers of the 6 paths and the power of Rinne Sharingan are still out of my reach at the moment. So have a bit of patience, okay?" said Naruto. Calming down the No-Life King. "Your powers are incredible, but too bad that you still can't control them well. No matter, I can't wait for the day when I shall be able to see the full extent of your power in action," said the vampire while clenching his fist toward Naruto. All nice and well, but Arceus was at loss for words. What she heard seemed unreal. That boy was a living god, well, demigod, he was still mortal, right? This is most unexpected, ended. "Naruto, you may be the most powerful thing next to Alucard," said Integra after regaining her composure. She was still dumbfounded by his resume, and Walter? Well, let's just say that he was almost thinking that he was hearing things. "Well, now that I explained all that, time for some action," said the blonde shinobi. "Wait a bit, kid, let it just sink in. You may give them a bit too much of a show, and next thing we know that lunatic of a vampire jumps at us for killing Integra by heart attack." Deadpanned the fox. "You really love this, don't you?" asked Kakuo. "Hell, bet I do. This is way funnier than teasing the kid," snickered Kurama. After this little comical moment, Naruto showed the Hellsings his shinobi might, beginning with the basics. He showed them wall walking, water walking, transformation and substitution. Then on with the more flashy stuff. He showed them the Shadow Clones Jutsu, the Rasengan, the Fireball Jutsu, Chidori, Hashiran and other jutsu that he picked up. After that he showed them Sage Mode and its powers that included Super Speed, more like a power-up to his already inhuman speed. Super Power, Power-up, Upped Senses, Power-up to the already owned Kurama Radar 9000, and the other things, like the Frog Kata. Then up to the powers that he got from the beasts. The most notable was the power of sand manipulation that he got from Shukaku, then the other powers and the emotion radar of Kurama and his tailed beast cloak. Then the 6 paths Sage Mode, which he only showed them. Then he tried to use the Amaterasu, didn't work well, but he managed to call forth a spark of black flames while wondering how did Sasuke Teme manage to summon whole tempests of flame. Then the Susanoo manifestation where he got the ribcage. And so on and so forth. He showed them all that he knew from what he was able to make out of the 6 paths down to the various nature releases and the variations of the Rasengan and Chidori. And finally the tailed beast transformation, from Shukaku down to Kurama. He wanted to show them more, but he thought that a tailed beast planetary Rasenshuriken would be a bit too much and would also draw attention, but he did show and explain the regular Rasenshuriken, along with the variations of it. At the end of the day Integra was so happy that felt like letting Alucard go on one of his legendary midnight walks. Meaning that she was on cloud 9. Walter also felt awesome and decided to make a big meal for the new, secret weapon of Hellsing. Having the boy on his good side was most preferable. Sierra's was impressed by Naruto's power so much that her burden of being a vampire looked like nothing when comparing to the burden of power that Naruto had. And Alucard? Well, he was in his little dreamland, fantasizing about his future fight against Naruto. After the show was over, Naruto had some quality time with Kurama. If you guessed, that meant slapping Torii seals over his sorry hide. Thing that made Shukaku laugh his ass off while the others' sweat dropped at the sight. knowing full well that Shukaku is going to regret laughing for a week or so after Kurama would be set free. Naruto's room. Did you really need to slap God fucking 50 tories over me? Asked the enraged Kurama, and over a little joke as well. Kid, you don't have any sense of humor. Oh really? A little joke, huh? Okay, 50 more torii seals coming right up, said the blonde in a tone that gave shivers to the other beasts. Please no, no more, I had enough, screamed the terrified fox. Just messing with you, said the blonde with a smile on his face as he released Kurama. You are brutal, kid, said the fox while holding his arms crossed. Naruto and the gang could have had more fun, but then they heard someone knocking at the door. Naruto opened the door, revealing Sarah's. Hi there, Sarah's. What brings you here? Asked Naruto while wearing his fox grin. Well, Sir Integra has summoned you to the dining room for dinner and our first together mission, said Sarah's as she was blushing, and trying not to make eye contact with the blonde shinobi. First mission? Well, it was about time. Got boring to just lay around and watch poor quality shows on TV. Just let me grab something and I will come right up, said Naruto as he went and strapped his apocalyptic worst-case scenario scroll. You really think that there is someone in this whole wide world other than that Alucard that would require you to have that storage scroll at all times? Asked Shukaku. Call it gut feeling, but I think that I may need this. Plus you never know when I would need something from the scroll, replied the blonde. Like some Insta ramen for example? You just can't get over this addiction, huh? Said Shukaku. Mention that once more, and let me tell you this. What happened to Kurama will look like cuddling when I am done with you. Got that? Said Naruto while directing loads of killer intent towards Shukaku, that if he wouldn't have been a tailed beast and so happened to be sealed in Naruto, he would have ran so fast that he would have gave Luke Valentine a run for his money. And it just so happened that Luke was sneezing at that point. When Naruto got out of the room, Sarah's looked at him and saw the scroll and then asked, Why do you carry that? In case anything bad happens. Think of it as insurance policy, said the blonde shinobi. Well now, let's get moving. I can't wait to see what Integra has in store for us. Dining room. Hey Integra, so what you got for us? Asked Naruto. I'd appreciate if you'd call me Sir Integra, said the head of Hellsing, rather pissed at the lack of respect. Why the sudden change of heart? Asked Naruto. You are now a member of Hellsing, and thus I expect that you will respect me as your master, clarified Integra. I will consider that, but I would rather just call you Integra. If I would add sir, it would feel like calling you old and also calling you a man. And in fact you seem to be really young, so what's up with the whole sir thing? Asked Naruto, and even more to that he made a solid point of view. Fine, call me Integra if you see so fit. Now cutting to the chase, let me brief you about the mission at hand. Should we not wait for Alucard to get out of that wall first? Said Naruto. Well, you found me again, impressive, said Alucard. Wasn't hard ever since that aura of yours just screams, I am here, snickered Naruto. Anyway, what's the mission about Integra? Asked Alucard. A old asylum in Badrick, Ireland. We received notice of a vampire turning locals into ghouls. Go and fix that up, ordered Integra. Very well my master, said Alucard while bowing. Naruto. Yes Integra? You should take some guns with you. It may be dangerous, said Integra. Ah, you care about me, that's sweet. But don't worry, I got everything I need right here, said Naruto smiling while patting the scroll strapped on his back. Fine, now go, said Integra in reply. After Alucard, Sarah's and Naruto were gone out of sight, she began thinking about the multiple vampire attacks that were happening way too often for comfort. Usually Hellsing would have took a mission 4 to 5 times a month, but now almost for 3 weeks they have been called almost no stop. It was like these attacks were meant to distract them, to keep them away from something bigger. The reason was that vampires appeared like fresh of the factory line. Something uncommon. Italy unknown church. It was sunny that day, the birds were singing and the children were playing outside. In the middle of this scenario were 2 boys that were being scolded by a blonde tall man with short spiky hair, green eyes, glasses and a large scar on his left cheek. He was wearing a large gray cassock with purple accents on the sides and a black shirt with the same purple on the sides. And to finish off he had black pants and boots. The strange Finnish touch was that he wore white gloves with crosses on them. The right one had written on it, Jesus Christ is in heaven, and the left one had, "Speak with the dead." And the usual silver cross. "Now both of you stop that. There is no fighting between friends. How do you expect to go to heaven acting like that?" asked the man. "Sorry, father," said one of the boys. "Tisk. Listen, violence is never the right answer, except when used against monsters and heathens," said the tall man, smiling. Then he turned his gaze as he saw someone walking towards him, covered by the shadows. "Now, I want you both to run straight to your rooms," said the man while smiling. "Yes, father," said both kids while running and giggling. The tall one waved as the kids ran, and then starting to walk he saw the face of the one that had business with him. "To what do I owe this visit? What happened?" asked the man. "Recently I heard a lot of bad news coming from England," said the white-haired man. "Yeah, they are working hard to keep everything quiet," said the blonde. "Ah, you mean vampires," said the old one as a vile smile appeared on the face of the blonde priest. After that and a little chat about how a vampire having a Protestant for lunch isn't their worry, that shifted fast at the blonde one hearing about the Helsing being in Ireland, even if it was in the north, and the north was the land of England and the rest was well the rest. After that our priest was on his merry way to make Alucard's and the others' life a mess. Badrick Old Asylum. It had been around 2 hours ever since Alucard, Sarah's and Naruto got to was good until they reached their asylum was full, and I mean full was holding her rifle and trembling while Naruto and his fellow beasts were wondering just what kind of madman would do something like they a little flashback of a certain enthusiastic homicidal vampire priest. Much to Naruto's surprise Alucard jumped head-on rocketing forward to the asylum, killing everything that was in his wake. Naruto and Sarah's sweat dropped at the sight. He looks so happy killing those things. "I wonder just how does Integra keep him in check?" asked Naruto. "Some things are better left unknown to man," said Sun. "I agree, can't begin to imagine how she made this lunatic into her personal." "You know better let this dead," completed Shukaku. "Sarah's, shall we go on? Looks like Alucard cleared the road," said Naruto. Alright, let us follow master," said Sarah's with a small blush appearing on her cheeks. When they arrived at the doorstep they waited a bit so Alucard could trim the fat for them. Well, Naruto could have blown that place to bits, but his jutsu were too spectacular to go unnoticed. While sitting on the doorstep the two could hear the countless gunshots that echoed in the night. After a bit Naruto said, "It's showtime," as he said that Sarah's broke the door by ramming into it and then she flipped over while holding her gun. Then Naruto just walking in casually while whistling. "They are not real people. They may as well be zombie pumpkins, they are just dolls. Take aim and it's all over," said Sarah's as she shot one of the undead bastards right in the head. Then she continued while her blue eyes changed into red ones. Naruto saw that and reminded him of the Sharingan. But now was not the time to be worrying about the past. "Sarah's, leave some alive for me as well. Don't hog all the fun to yourself and Alucard," said Naruto while smiling. Then he unstrapped his scroll and unsealed from within it the Kabikirabocho or the decapitating carving knife which served as Zabuza's weapon as one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist. As how Naruto got his hands on it, he simply took it after his battle his Kakuzu for safekeeping and in case that he would need a large blade. Well that had come when Zabuza's sword would taste flesh again, even if it was to one of the undead. "Sarah's, cover me," yelled Naruto while holding onto the Kabikirabocho just like Zabuza back in the day. If Kakashi could have seen Naruto he could have swore that an image of Zabuza was behind the kid. "Yes," replied Sarah's while continuing to shoot. While Naruto was swinging around the large blade like it was nothing, and also with so much grace. Naruto was able to slash in half ghouls like he was built for the job, and next to that there was no blood on his outfit. The most incredible feat was the fact that when he was surrounded by ghouls Naruto simply swung the sword in a circle. On the blade was some sort of light and the next thing she knew all the ghouls were beheaded after 10 seconds. "Grim Reapers dance silent waltz," said Naruto. After half an hour or so almost all the ghouls were killed. Naruto decided that he should seal back the Kabikirabocho and let Sarah's finish the ghouls. While he had experience killing, he knew that he should let Sarah's gain some too. Then as Sarah's shooting time was slowing down and she began to make kill after kill while remembering what her master told her and Naruto before arriving. "Police girl, Naruto, when you are trying to kill a ghoul make sure that you get either the head or the heart. Just remember that these people did not become undead ghouls by schwas. There is no way to cure them once they have been changed." It's for their sake to put them to rest as soon as possible. As the flashback ended, Naruto saw Alucard behind Sarah's, who at that moment was out of bullets. As she reloaded, Naruto saw her face. Her eyes red, full of madness and bloodlust. "Is this," asked the blonde, "the same girl you knew?" "Well, yes and no. She just underwent that change of heart because of the vampiric side of her." "Don't worry, kid, she is still all yours," snickered Kurama. "One word for you, Kurama, Torii," as he said that the fox gulped. Then as Sarah's was ready to drink the blood of the last ghoul that she killed, she found herself stabbed, and the next thing she knew was that she hit the floor. "Seras, no," yelled Naruto. "Blessed blades," said Alucard as he saw golden runes over the knives that impaled Sarah's. Then golden pages strapped themselves with nails over the walls. Barrier. When Alucard said that, he and Naruto turned their gaze towards the back of the hall where they had entered. They heard steps, and along with the steps there was another eerie sound, the sound of dripping blood that could not be forgotten by anyone that lay foot on the field of battle. Then as the moonlight began to shine on the mystery man, they saw the one who had impaled Sarah's. Then the man began to chant the following: "We are the servants of God and the messengers of his justice. We are the instruments of his divine wrath on earth. We are called upon to cleanse his kingdom, bringing ash from the flesh of thy enemies. Praised be our Lord," said the man. Meanwhile at the Helsing Manor. "Sir, we have received a report from our Vatican intelligence officer," said one of the man. The other said, "Our fear is confirmed. The Vatican's Special Operation Iscariot organization is on the move." Iscariot, the Vatican's Special Operations Unit, the most powerful agents the Vatican commands. Professional exorcists, assassins trained to deal with heathens and heretics. They work under Section 13, a black operations unit. "How large of a force did they send?" asked Integra, curious at what those religious bastards wanted. The Helsing agent spoke. Just one agent was deployed, the paladin, Father Alexander Anderson. "Did you say Alexander Anderson? God knows what would happen if he happened to run into Alucard or worse into Naruto," said Integra with worry, as all in that room along with Walter were scared at the thought of that. Then Integra rose and said, "Leave for Badrid now, fetch my gun, my sword, and prepare 2 bodyguards." "Yes, sir," said the agent as he bowed before running so he could do all that Integra commanded. "Walter, I want you to keep working on the Vatican," said Integra. "Yes, sir," said the butler while bowing. As Integra rushed towards the helicopter, Walter began to tell her all of Anderson's nicknames, along with the fact that he was a walking mystery and that he has a pro at killing vampires. Then the infamous comparison between Alucard and Anderson's power. And with that, Integra rushed towards Ireland in hope of avoiding a conflict that could degenerate into a large war between the Crown and Vatican. And as a final remark she said, "Oh God, I hope that they didn't start killing each other." Now back to Naruto and the gang. Things were, let's say, really tense, so tense that not even the dimensional of a certain female vampire called the Black Devil. The one to break the silence was of course Anderson. "Beautiful moon tonight, don't you think?" asked Anderson. Then as Naruto felt that Sarah's is somehow still alive, he rose and said, "Yes, it is a beautiful moon tonight, just perfect for someone to die," said the shinobi while giving Anderson a death stare. "And who may you be, young one? You don't look like a vampire, nor do you emit the same stench. Hate to think that Helsing would get so low as to send children to fight their battles for them." As Anderson said that, he felt and saw a red power that came from the boy as he saw his eyes become red and his pupils slit. Then Naruto rose his hand and all the knives that were impaling Sarah's rose and then fell to the ground. "What in the Lord's name are you, demon?" said Anderson as he got in a battle stance, ready to purge Naruto. "Me? I am just the Sage of 6 Paths, and allied to the Helsing organization," replied Naruto. "A sage? Don't joke with me, demon," roared Anderson. "Special Operations Unit 13 Iscariot," said Alucard. "Yes, you are, you Helsing dogs," said Anderson. "And you must be the legendary Helsing family pet vampire, the one who hunts his own kind, Alucard," said Anderson. "And your name is?" asked Alucard with a smile. "Alexander Anderson, pleased to meet you, demon, though I think that our meeting shall be short. Sorry to break into your little chat, but where is the vampire that made the ghouls?" asked Naruto as he was standing next to Sarah's, healing her with his yang seal. Anderson looked in awe as the wounds that he made on the Draculina were no longer there, as that other demon was healing her with some sort of magic. If you want to know so bad. Well, he's dead, didn't have much fun though, said Anderson as he and Alucard began to walk towards each other, slowly. When both of them reached the middle of the hall, there they were standing still. There was only the sound of the void, no sound made by the wooden floor, no sound made by the wind. Just the calm before the storm. Then if you would have blinked you would have missed as the two combatants pulled out the weapon that they held dear, Anderson with his holy blades and Alucard with his pistol. In a flash Anderson's blades clashed against Alucard's gun, leaving sparks upon contact, but success was his ally as he stabbed Alucard in the shoulder as his blood gushed out, making Sarah's worry for her dear master. But Naruto wasn't worried in the slightest, he knew Alucard would pull it. Then as he thought that, Alucard crossed his hands and let out a bullet to build a short-term relation with Anderson's skull. Then as the priest hit the floor, Alucard simply took out the blades out of himself and said, "You attacked a vampire head-on, in the middle of the night, you didn't even try to catch me by surprise. You were a brave man, father, but you were also a fool," said the vampire. "Wonderful master," said Sarah's with a bit of pain in her voice as she still could feel the cold steel that was in her body. "Alucard, behind you, moron," yelled Naruto. The corpse of Anderson rose to stab Alucard once more. Even if the vampire kept shooting it didn't matter, the priest was back and it didn't look like he wanted to go back to the other realm. Then Anderson threw Alucard into a wall and pinned him down with his knives so fast that he shattered the glass of the windows. Then as Alucard's bullets came out of him, the vampire said, "A regenerator." "Correct. A living weapon made by the human race with God's blessings, in order to take down vile creature like you." "Amen," shouted Anderson as he cut off Alucard's head. Then he began to laugh at the poor, legendary pet vampire. "Master," shouted Sarah's as she began to cry. "Don't worry, Sarah's, I am here," he said as he patted her head. "I am going to give him hell," he said with a serene smile. "And how are you going to do that, sage?" asked Anderson in a mocking way. "Simple," said Naruto as he suddenly appeared behind Anderson. "I am going to beat the living shit out of you," he said as his punch introduced itself to Anderson's intestines, making him gasp for air. How did you?" he asked as blood began to appear from his mouth's rear. "Fuck you, that's how," said Naruto as he had a sly smile on his face. He once again disappeared, then out of the shadows they could hear the following. He, coming straight from Kakashi-sensei's teachings, one of the most deadly techniques. He paused only to appear away from Anderson, then he began to run with anime white eyes as he formed a hand sign, then he said, "Leaf secret finger jutsu. 1,000 years of death," yelled Naruto as he appeared behind Anderson and with a little bit of chakra enhancement trusted his fingers up Anderson's ass, propelling him with a loud bang through the roof while crying anime tears. Sarah's was shocked at the finger jutsu as she expected him to one-shot kill him, not shove his fingers up his bottom. Netherless, she was shocked. "Ha ha ha ha, oh boy, I missed having a sucker to use that one on," said Naruto as he laughed with gusto. But as all things have an end, Anderson returned, and royally pissed off as well. I am going to skin you alive," said Anderson as he emanated a great deal of bloodlust, more than in his fight with Alucard. The vampire at least had the decency to bloody shoot him, not humiliate him. Anderson knew that if word got out about this it would be the end of the paladin. Then as Anderson tried to rush and kill the last vampire, his knives got blown away by none other than Integra. "That girl belongs to me. What's your business here, Paladin Father Alexander Anderson?" asked Integra. "Sir Integra Wingates Fairbrook, do I owe the honors for your personal appearance?" asked Anderson. "Enough, Father Anderson, this is a violation of our agreement. The situation here is under our control. Withdraw immediately. Neither the Helsing organization nor the Iscariot can afford this sort of battle. I don't care who you think you are. This act of aggression ends now," solemnly said Integra. "Withdraw, is that a order?" said Anderson as a blade appeared out of his sleeves. "You expect the Iscariot organization, God's own chosen instruments of judgment, to just withdraw on your order? Did you really expect to see me running and screaming from a filthy Protestant whore?" roared Anderson as he rushed towards Integra and her bodyguards with the intention to slash them open. But unfortunately for him, he forgot about a certain hyperactive knucklehead ninja that jumped to save his boss. In an instant he appeared before Anderson, impaling him with the Chidori's sharp spear. "Hey there, buddy. How are you doing? rhetorically asked Naruto. The only thing that could be heard was Anderson mumbling something with lots of rage in the tone. Just what is this demon? He makes short work of me and now here I am pierced by his magical sword. Anderson though to himself, had enough? Father Anderson, asked Integra. Yes I did, as for that pet vampire you loved to parade around, well he is dead. You just missed his decapitation, said Anderson triumphant at his achievement. While taking a poof out of a cigar Integra began to smirk, then as she removed the cigar and let the smoke out she said, You cut his head off? Is that all? Asked Integra. What? Asked the thunderstruck priest. Get away from Naruto, said Ceres with much venom in her voice. Gra-ahh, yelled Anderson as he freed himself from the Chidori, with blood gushing out of the wound. Nice going there, said Naruto with a smirk. I am going to end you here and now, roared Anderson as he got himself into a battle stance ready to try to slit their throats. He somehow managed to get past Naruto, but he had a surprise as where stood Integra grew a tree that protected her and the bodyguards who just saw their life flashing, just ready to piss themselves. It doesn't look too good for you Anderson, said Integra with a cocky smirk on her face along with beads of sweat, as the wood that Naruto got around her sprouted really fast, thus not allowing it to form and become hard. And thus Anderson's blade was pointing at her neck. But God bless the blonde, the wood was keeping Anderson from killing her. If I were you I'd leave while I would still be able, said Integra. Are you mad? I am about to paint the wall with you, said Anderson. You know that vampire you just decapitated will be coming back to life any second now, said Integra. He will what? Asked Anderson as he turned his glare towards where the blonde and the Draculina were standing. Then a little bat approached Ceres, whispered something to her and the next thing that they knew was that the whole corridor was filled with bats. That of course set their sights straight on the priest's sorry pale ass, surrounding him as the tree that protected Integra began to vanish and she said. Cut off his head? Pierced his heart? He is nothing like the other vampires you ever known, your tricks won't hurt him. You may be the finest anti-vampire technology, but the 100 of years of the Helsing family's occult knowledge produced this achievement, our crow's glory, the vampire Alucard, said Integra as the vampire came, yet again, back from the dead just like a certain bald monk. Then with a solemn laugh of madness the no-life king was back in the game. Master, happily said Ceres at the sight of her master. Then a quick exchange of blows between the two monsters, while both of them happy for some reason. Anderson was happy that he cut the vampire's arms, but to no end result as he simply grew back a new pair as Anderson watched the display. I think that you are beginning to understand. What will you do now, Anderson? Asked Integra while Alucard was sporting a smile, sign that he was ready for round 2. I will leave, I need further preparation to kill this one. Then he turned to where Naruto was and said, as for you boy, I can't really put my finger on you. You seem to be a human and a beast at the same time. But still I can't wait to battle the new son of Babylon, said the priest as he took a copy of the Bible, written by who? Don't ask me, slapping his hand against it, making golden pages fly until he was no more. Huh, and here I was hoping for more fun, said Alucard. We made it, said Ceres as she jumped, knowing that they were safe, for the time being. Yes, all nice and well but, began Naruto. Ceres, you almost got killed, if it weren't for me or Alucard, you would be dead. You know, Integra was saying before being cut off by the blonde. You too Integra, you were in the hands of Anderson, and he didn't seem like he was going to stop if Alucard or me didn't show up. Also the men behind you were almost killed by your weakness. You may be our master, our leader, but that doesn't give you the right to be weak both in the mind and body. Anyway we shall talk more when he get back home. So who is ready for some ramen? Asked the shinobi with a smirk. You really gave them a speech kit, said Kurama, but a wise one as well, the boy has grown Kurama, said Sun. Guess it is time for us to leave. Alucard, Ceres, let's go, said Integra as she took a poof of smoke. But there in the distance, watching from a safe point was a tall man, clad in black robes with clouds of crimson and on his face was a mask full of white, each side having a black line pattern. And so he stood in the air, observing the group as they made their exit. And then with a light chuckle he said, this is going to be fun, Uzumaki and Helsing. Shall we see each other in the fields of Long? He said as his image disappeared from the landscape, and at the same time giving Naruto and his tailed beasts a cold shiver, one that seemed familiar, like they knew it all too well. "I have a bad feeling about this," he whispered. "Me too, Kit, and a really bad one as well," said Kurama. Returning from the village of Badrick, Naruto had a small talk with the team. First scolding Alucard on the fact that he didn't show up to stop the priest and that he almost caused the death of Ceres. "You moron, what were you thinking, Alucard? God forbid I wasn't there when Anderson impaled Ceres? Tell me?" asked Naruto with worry in his voice. "The police girl can handle herself. She is now a vampire, she can take care of herself," nonchalantly replied Alucard, who didn't find the shinobi's point. Ceres was a vampire, she could very well put up a fight before he made his appearance. "Alucard is right, Naruto. Ceres needs to learn to fend off for herself," said Integra in a cold manner. "And in the process get killed? Are you the one to talk? Integra, I respect you, a lot actually, but as the head of this organization you be able yourself to fend off. Or should I remind you that I saved your ass back in that asylum? Gee, I wonder what would have happened if I didn't sprout that tree to protect you," said the blonde in a serious tone. "What do you mean by that? Are you questioning my resolve?" roared Integra. "Not your resolve, Integra, but your actual power. Tell me, what can you do without me, Walter, Alucard, Ceres, or the Hellsing troops? Let's say that you were cornered, with an empty gun and no ally or sword. What would you do?" asked Naruto. "I would fight them. And get killed? And some other things as well," said Naruto while making the word things sound a bit louder. "So I thought, not to worry, things are going to change, and fast," said Naruto with a smirk on his face that could mean one thing: they were in for it. "Wait, you don't mean that you?" asked Walter. "Yes, from now on I will train you. And let me tell you, hell, it's a nice place this time of the year, compared to my training," said the shinobi with a large fox-like smile. This made everyone except Alucard to pale and gulp at the statement. Well, Alucard was pretty jumpy to say the least as he heard about the training. The no-life king barely trained in his life, all his experience in battle being acquired during his teens, while he was still a human. But anyway, he was excited at the thought that we may become stronger, even if he could take down armies if Integra let him. As for Walter and Integra, well, the butler was thinking that he was too old for this, while Integra was happily cursing in her mind the fact that Naruto had point and that she was, for a woman with her kind of job, pretty weak. And in final, Ceres, the Draculina, didn't know what to expect, but being trained by a demigod and an immortal vampire master. Well, this all summed up to her that she was going to fall off the boat known as SS Humanity. But on the other hand, Naruto was one of the most skilled men she knew, and having him as a teacher, in place of her master that instead of teaching her like an actual mentor just tells her to drink blood, and as much as possible. It is true that Alucard, her master, taught her how to shoot like a vampire. Anyway, Naruto was the one she had high hopes of being a good teacher. Hellsing's training grounds. Alright, now listen here everyone. I will be, from now on, your teacher or sensei. You all agreed to listen to me when it comes down to training, but remember I am also your friend," said Naruto as he became a teacher, and in a way have his own team, the Konohamaru Corps being sort of a side project than an actual team. "Can you stop beating around the bush? I know I agreed with this, but I still have duties to perform," said an infuriated Integra. Now, Integra, remember that when you took on my training we discussed that we shall have none of this," said Naruto with a smile. Flashback. "I am happy that you want to improve yourself, Integra, you made the right choice," said Naruto, quite happy that his boss decided to become stronger. "I am too," said Integra as she was ready to take a smoke, but then, "And don't you even think that you could use the fact that by being the head of Hellsing you will be able to slide off training just to smoke?" said the blonde shinobi with a smirk. Crap, how did he figure it? Thought Integra to herself as she was surprised that Naruto found out that she intended to get out sometimes out and get a smoke. "I wonder about that. Well, it's a secret," said the shinobi with a wink. Flashback end. "Yeah, you did," said a disappointed Integra as she bowed her head. "I am really puzzled on how you shall teach us. May I ask how are you going to do so?" asked Walter. This caught the attention of Alucard, who also wondered how he was going to teach them. Well, back in the elemental nations everyone had chakra, so the matter of actually giving someone chakra wasn't even debated. But luckily for you there is a little jutsu that I made in order to give you a chakra network and the actual stuff. Well, you shall fell a bit, no make that a lot of pain from this. But worry not, I have a technique that will knock you cold so you wouldn't feel the atrocious pain. Said Naruto. At this Walter, Integra and Sarah's face faulted, and of course our hero could barely keep himself from laughing. Is it going to really hurt that bad? Asked Sarah's. You have no idea, said Naruto with a sinister smile. Well now, we should get on with it, said Alucard. Okay, but first I will knock you out, said Naruto as he made some hand seals and put everyone to sleep. You sure this is going to work? Asked Shukaku. Shukaku, do you doubt my ability? Asked Naruto. Strange, such a remark coming from the kid who couldn't walk on water without first taking a dip, said Kurama while he was snickering. After a little debate on his abilities, Naruto calmed down, entering Six Paths Sage mode as he was standing on the grass with his legs crossed. He took a breath as he slowly placed his hands together like he was praying. Then he bit his right thumb and pressed it against the ground, as the blood came out and began to make circles of runes around him and his friends. The runes then began to shine in a bluish manner as domes of chakra began to form and enter the bodies of the Hellsings. All looked like they were in great pain as the chakra network came into existence, while all except Alucard, who looked like he was having a sweet dream. Naruto opened his eyes and after a bit said, "They look like someone is ripping out their insides. Only that Alucard looks like he's enjoying all this," said Naruto with a bit of concern about his vampire friend's sanity. "That guy wasn't sane to begin with," said Kurama. "Guess you were right on that matter," replied Naruto. After like 5 to 10 minutes he was done with everyone. He successfully gave chakra, and he also made sure that he wouldn't influence too much the nature of their chakra. Then after like another 5 minutes they began to wake up, the first being Alucard of course, then followed by Walter, Integra and Sarah's. "Ah, my head is killing me. It feels like when I do too much paperwork, but 10 times worse," complained Integra. "I one felt like I am back in my 20s, quite remarkable," said a happy Walter, but deep down he knew that Integra was going to become more of a slave driver than before. As for Alucard, he was having a large smile while chuckling. And Sarah's, she was speechless as she was staring at her hands, feeling the new power that was flowing in her body. "Hope you fell all right. Sorry if things are still shaky, it was the first time I gave someone chakra," said Naruto as he was scratching the back of his head. "It's very strange to say the least, but we thank you for the gift," said Integra. "It feels incredible," said Sarah's. "Yes it is, I felt so alive, said Alucard as a vile smile began to show up on his face. His teeth were flashing in the light as his eyes became red. Then the vampire felt a hand on his back. When he turned he saw Walter, who said, "Calm down will you? Now, you felt like training?" asked Naruto as the others saw the look on his face. This day was one that they wouldn't forget. Italy base of Iscariot. For our Hellsing organization all was well, but for Anderson, it was really bad. He was recalling the battle with Naruto and each time he remembered the finger jutsu, his as would tighten his ass and a shiver was going down his spine. But the fact that he, Father Alexander Anderson, the paladin, was defeated in such a way. Well, some say that it doesn't really matter that you lose, it's how you lose that makes you scream. To say the least, Anderson was royally pissed would be a major understatement. His anger was brighter and hotter than the flames of hell, but not as hot and bright as the flames of youth. Then after a patch-up and some walking he was finally in front of the Vatican Section 13, Iscariot, Head Council. "Anderson, care to explain this?" asked annoyed Enrico Maxwell. He was quite the young man with blue eyes and silver hair, and he was sporting a version of Anderson's outfit, minus the cassock. "That blasted demon," said Anderson while looking at the ground, as silence engulfed the room, "that until it was broken, courtesy of Maxwell, but of course. So you come back, without killing that pet vampire, and also defeated by a mere boy that stuck his fingers in your bottom?" yelled Enrico. The man has looking like he was ready to jump at Anderson and bash his head against the walls, but even the silver madman knew that would be like jumping in your own grave. "Enrico," said Emmanuel, one of the oldest members of Iscariot, "Anderson did his beast, but, as he wrote in the report, that boy had abilities and power beyond that of Anderson. As I understand your frustration that we were defeated by Hellsing and their new pet, you should be thankful that Anderson is still here and serving under God the Almighty." "Fine," whispered Enrico to himself as he read again the report of the Badrit case. He stopped and read yet again about the boy and how he called himself a sage. Then with a sinister smile he said, "Naruto Uzumaki, hope that we shall meet in person." Then he dismissed Anderson as he went toward the paperwork. Hellsing Manor, Naruto's room. It was quite the day for Naruto. He began the training for the Hellsings and the results came quite nicely. He first gave them the leaf balancing training, even if Integra and Alucard alike were quite skeptical about how he taught, but at the end they all passed the technique in about 1 hour except for Sarah's, who took half an hour more to complete. Then a bit of meditation and to the Academy 3 as they did not need to train throwing kunai and shuriken as they were trained before to do that. First he showed and explained to how to transform. The first one to make a perfect copy of him was Alucard, who had enough practice transforming as a vampire. Then there was Integra, but the head of Hellsing made almost a perfect henge, but the henge had her glasses, all around great progress. Walter, like Alucard, made a perfect transformation. Then Sarah's again, who was the last, she made a copy but it looked like she got Naruto's Academy Hiruzen henge, just with the Hellsing outfit and mini skirt. It was a sight to behold. And substitution, which all got the hang of on the first try. As for the clone jutsu, well, Integra and Sarah's were a disaster. He was really proud to see his students advancing at such a fast pace. He had in mind to have everyone practice till they go it down to perfect, even his top students, Alucard and Walter, to seem to excel in. Sometime the team disbanded and Naruto went into his room in order to think about a training regiment. But before he could dive any deeper into his thoughts he heard one of his tailed beasts calling. "Naruto," said Yuki in a calm tone. "What's up?" asked the blonde. "I got some good news and some bad ones," said the bull. "So, out with it, what happened?" "The good news is that I managed to get in touch with my other half that is still in Killer Bee," said the bull as he was planning to continue, but he was rudely interrupted by Naruto. "That's awesome. Why didn't you tell me about this sooner?" asked the blonde. "Well," began Yuki with a shudder. "They are pretty pissed off, especially a certain blonde and pink-haired duo," finished the bull. Well, saying that Naruto was looking more pale than Orochimaru would have been an understatement. The poor guy was scared shitless. "Do I really need to talk to them?" asked the blonde, barely muttering his words. "Unfortunately, yes. The whole continent is euphoric that you are alive but at the same time worried about the fact that you didn't call." "Well, better get this over with," said Yuki as he sighed. Then the bull began to channel some chakra. The water inside the mindscape began to boil, and after a while a Torii gate sprang up. Said gate was then flooded by chakra and after a bit the chakra became denser and black. But it didn't last long before the black hue began to disappear, just like rainwater on a window. Elemental nations. Now for a bit of backtracking. In the Kaminari no Kuni, or simply the lightning country thing, were the usual. Well, except the Raikage, that picked up the training regiments of Might Guy, Darui, who shockingly began to work. Samui dropped her verbal tick and got a crush on the whiskered hero. And Killer Bee? Well, he dropped his rhyme making and decided to train more than ever, that after realizing that he was using too much of his tenant's power and barely any of his own. Now you could find Bee in one of the village's training grounds meditating. Even if our beloved rapper had physical power, he lacked quite a bit in mental side, so what better way to become stronger than meditation, right? While was meditating about something, he heard his half of Yuki telling him that his favorite blonde pal was alive and kicking ass in another dimension. Well, he kind of had a teary-eye session about a blonde bastard that made him worry so damn much he almost gave up on his rapping. So he ran like he was chased by the devil himself and told about Naruto. Well, after 3 seconds you could have found the Raikage smashing windows while he was shouting, "Fuck yeah." Then he used the Allied Shinobi Force's mental phone and told every village about the good news. Well, in K's, Gaara began to sob a bit with a smile on his face. In Tsuchi, old man Onoki just said, "Stubborn brat, he won't even die. Reminds me of his father." In Mizume was happy that the blonde hero was alright. Now for the fire country. Well, the whole village after receiving the news was looking like they went through 3 heart attacks. Tsunade and Sakura were gripping their fist while looking ready to kill said one who survived. Kakashi along with Iruka and the Ichirakus were crying because of the immense happiness. Sasuke gave a genuine smile while thinking about a rematch with the Dobi. And the Konoha 9 were downright dancing. Lee was ready to challenge his eternal rival. and Hinata was holding her hands against her chest. She was so happy that her crush was alive and well. As for the Konohamaru Corps, you can imagine. After a few other reactions, all the continent threw one massive party, with a 100% chance of everyone that was allowed to drink to be found the next day hammered like he was never before. After 2 days of sobering up, each village sent towards the hidden cloud a delegation of everyone that knew Naruto in order to use B to communicate with Naruto. Mindscape of Naruto. After the hue cleared, Naruto could see all his friends. Sakura, Sasuke, Gaara, B, Kakashi, Tsunade, the Ino Shikacho combo, Lee along with Ten and Bushy Brow Sensei, Kiba, Shino, Hinata, the Ichirakus and the Konohamaru Corps. As soon as the blonde saw them, he began to cry and slowly say, "Everyone. Thank you." Then he sprinted towards his friends, but before he could say anything his face met with the fists of Sakura and Tsunade that smacked him right into the floor of his mindscape. Funny how his own mindscape would receive damage considering that it was Naruto's mind and in a way indestructible. "You idiot, you had us worried sick. You could have summoned a toad and tell us that you were alive," screamed the female medics in unison while having anime rage eyes along with some veins that looked ready to burst. "Ops, sorry, never actually thought about it, I must admit. Kind of got caught in the moment, you know," said the whiskered man as he pulled himself up and stared to scratch the back of his head with a goofy grin plastered on his face. But unfortunately for him, he got another round of knuckle sandwich. "Ah, you never change, do you?" asked Sakura. "Sakura, you know me, I never change unless it's a change in how I train," said the blonde while having his arms crossed over his chest triumphantly. "You will always be Adobe," said a certain raven-haired man. "Don't you lecture me, Teme." Naruto shot back at the one and only Sasuke Uchiha. "Gotta agree with Duckass, you really are an idiot," said Kiba, as Sasuke just scoffed at the said nickname. "Kiba, that is not nice to say towards one of the people who saved this world, you included," said Shino in his usual emotionless tone. "Shino is right, Kiba, Naruto really did save us all," said Hinata, who was hiding behind Kurenai. "Hinata is right, dog breath. Show some respect," said Naruto with a smug look. "Why you?" said Kiba as he was ready to jump at our hero but was stopped by a mass of sand that caught him dead in his track. "Just try and finish what you started, and you will deeply regret it," said Gaara while sending chills down everybody's spine. "Nice seeing you too, Gaara," replied Naruto to his ex-Jinchuriki pal. "I am glad that you are healthy and well, my friend," said Gaara. But before his friend could continue, he was cut short by Killer B, who shouted, "Hey, I am here, you know." "Oh, be sorry there, buddy, didn't see ya there," replied the blonde towards his friend and teacher. "You still are with your head in the clouds, hey, but still I am so happy that you alive, bro," said B as he wiped his tears in a comical fashion which led to many to sweat drop at the grown Mont's attics. But, as a chain reaction was bound to happen, Konohamaru jumped up from the crowd and bolted towards his boss. "BB boss, I have missed you so much, sniff, it has been so sniff boring without you, sniff, please come back, boss," said Konohamaru with eyes full of tears. As he finished his sentence, he felt the boss's hand ruffling his hair while smiling. "Sorry if I made you sad, Konohamaru. I will come back after I help the people here. They are against some fearsome and scary monsters that kill without a second thought. After I am done I will come back, believe it," he said as he stroked a good guy pose all a guy. "That's my eternal rival, I sense that your flames of youth burn brighter than ever," said Lee while pumping up his fist. "Wait a damn second here," said Tsunade while making a gesture that looked like she was separating two boxers. "You care to explain the situation, Naruto?" asked Tsunade in a sickly sweet tone while having a smile. "That could mean only one thing for you, blonde hero, he was in trouble." "Just what did get yourself into this time, kid?" asked Onoki with a frown. "Yes, do tell, Dobi," followed in Sasuke, and thus made everyone present in the mindscape curious. They wondered if Naruto was alive, then why didn't he try to make contact? "Well," said Naruto as he began to tell everyone how he ended up in the current dimension, how he met with Alucard, the raid on the Hellsing HQ, and how he actually got a job similar to that of a shinobi but more in the lines of what an Anbu would do, and how he got to meet Father Anderson, and how he mopped the floor with said poor bastard with the secret jutsu of Konoha, which made a lot of the people present to laugh their ass off, and how finally he decided to train the Hellsings in the way of the shinobi. At the end though all present were left a bit thunderstruck after hearing the resume of all that happened, especially the part about vampires being a thing and just how many damned powers the kid got. So let me get this straight. You met an actual vampire and thought it would be a great idea to tail him? Said Tsunade while rubbing her temples in order to somewhat avoid the incoming migraine. Yep. Followed him towards his base and raided it. Yep. Got hired to a secret organization that deals with all that is supernatural and in the process sometimes kill something. Yep. And fought an actual religious authority in this world and after that decided to give chakra to your partners and employee. That's me all right, said Naruto. Aw man, I really need a drink, said Tsunade in the end. This seems so troublesome, said the eternally lazy Shikamaru Nara. I agree with the kid, this seems to be too much trouble. Can't you just say, I quit? And besides they seem to have held up nicely until you came, so why worry so much, asked Onoki. Gramps, you know that I don't go back on my word, was the simply reply that the old Tsuchikage got. Ah be damned, this younger generation, why did they have to get mixed into so many complicated affairs? That's why he liked to watch what cards were played and then make his move. That was Onoki's style and it was also what was in fact one of the best ways to ward off problems, but what can you do? When you are young you tend to make rash decisions and then pay for them. That the way to go, Naruto. I am so happy that you are Lee's eternal rival, said Mike Guy while giving his nice guy pose from within a well chair. Easy there guy, no need to blow everyone's ears you know, said Kakashi Hitaki. Hi there Kakashi sensei, sup? Asked Naruto. Well not much, I am alright, living the good life, but I must admit without you around things are pretty mundane. Well I am happy to hear that you are managing to live without me, haha, but don't worry I will come back. Is there any limit to you stupidity Dobi? Asked Sasuke. If there is any to your smug that is, said Naruto with a sly look in his eyes. And from here on out you can imagine just how they went back and forth insulting each other. That very routine was the thing that everyone missed so dearly, seeing their favorite blonde idiot having fun messing with the Uchiha. And vice versa. And after a while the two just stopped and began to laugh while holding onto each other so they would not fall. Well I am sorry to break the moment but I am having difficulty keeping up the connection. I fear that we will have to end it in a few minutes, said Gyuki. Well we hoped to give you some techniques before we had to end this, said Tsunade looking a bit down not being able to show her knowledge. That is not a problem, you are in a mindscape remember? You just need to think about the said technique will be copied in the form of a scroll, said Gyuki. How come you never told me this? Asked Naruto. You never asked, replied the bull making our hero face fault. Well let's get this over with, said Kakashi as a silver-ish scroll appeared in his hand. I hope you enjoy, said Mei Terumi as a magma-red scroll manifested itself. Better use it well Gaki, said Tsunade as a pale blonde scroll found its way in her hand. Use this in order to make your flames of youth burn brighter than ever, said Guy and Lee both with scrolls in the shade of green of their spandex. Just take it, said Shikamaru. Be careful, said Sasuke as he handed the blonde a pitch-black scroll. But before the conversation could end they heard a chilling giggle. Kukakuku, it is so nice to see you Naruto, said everyone's beloved snake Sanin, Orochimaru. Well nice seeing you round Orochimaru, how's Kabuto doing? He went on what he called a journey of self-rediscovery. He couldn't be here today but he left me with all of his work, Kukakuku. I hope that you will find my work fascinating, especially with all the interesting subjects around, said Orochimaru as he tossed up a silk white scroll. Well thanks, I guess, said Naruto. I don't want to know what is inside his scroll but who knows. Maybe the demented snake's work may save my ass someday, thought our hero with a shudder. Well I guess it's time we hit the road. Just try and don't get yourself killed Dobi, said Sasuke. Take care everyone, he said with a wave as his friends began to disappear from his mindscape, everyone with a sad smile on their face. After a minute everyone was gone. After playing a bit with each scroll our hero decided it was time to get some sleep and maybe teach his team a thing or two. Hellsing Manor morning. It was a wonderful night for Naruto as someone would guess he dreamed about being the Hokage and how awesome it was. We woke up, yawned, stretched himself, and changed from his black pajamas with cute bat imprints to his work outfit. Then he went straight towards the dining room. Then there was the heavenly breakfast made by Walter but something was missing. Hey Walter, did you see Integra? Oh, Miss Helsing you ask. She stayed up late so she could perfect the jutsu you gave her. Said the old butler. She shouldn't push herself too much, she could get killed, but I do admire that she is giving her all to learn and become stronger. Well, ever since she was little she was a perfectionist, and now that something like your teachings have been thrown at her she will work until it's flawless. But don't worry, she will wake up sooner or later. But enough about that, enjoy your meal. Said Walter as he was making to exit, but before he caught in his hand what seemed to be a pill. May I ask what is this? Asked Walter. It's a soldier pill. Think of it like an instant energy drink but with more energy and no bad side effects. Well, that if you don't abuse them. Give it to Integra, she will be up in no time. Replied Naruto as he was munching his steak. Quite the handy drug I see. Said Walter as he pocketed the pill and made his exit. And after that you can imagine how Naruto basically inhaled his food. Well, while he didn't do that anymore after a long talk with Integra about table manners, well, he didn't do it in public anymore, that is. No one could tell him how he should eat his food while he was alone. Hellsing Training Grounds. Well, hi there Integra, feeling better? Asked Naruto. Actually yes, I felt amazing, it's like I slept the whole night. I am happy to hear that my master. Said Alucard as he along with Ceres came to train. Well, thank you Alucard. Said Integra. Now everyone, I want to see those jutsu. Said Naruto. And as he said that, everyone made the respective hand seals and 2 clones per person appeared. After that the ram hand seal and everyone became a carbon copy of Naruto, and in the process they dispelled the so-called clones. And then our blonde sensei threw a rock at each and he saw as in a puff of smoke hay were replaced with a log. Nice work everyone, especially you two. He said as he pointed at Ceres and Integra. Thanks, said Ceres as she was heavily blushing with her little canines showing up. Someone would hardly believe that such a sweet girl would be a supposed monster. Now I will teach each of you some new techniques. And the first one to learn something new is Alucard. Said Naruto as Alucard smiled as his thoughts ran wild about the new toy that will be in his arsenal. Why does Master get to learn a new technique first? Asked Ceres. Because Ceres, the technique that I am going to teach him is, you could say, custom-made for him. Finished Naruto. How so? Do tell. Replied Alucard. Well, I know that you fight using guns, but you will be bound to run out of ammo sooner or later, or your guns could get destroyed. The technique that I am going to teach you was made by the second Mizukage. Said Naruto as he conjured a ball of water, took aim, and then the droplet flew faster than a bullet into a target. And as proof of its passing it left a shotgun-sized hole into the target, and that from about 100 meters. The blonde teacher turned around to see faces full of awe and an Alucard that looked like a kid on Xmas that got his favorite toy. Needless to say, he say silently thanking May for the jutsu scroll that she gave to him. Now, that's what I call worthwhile. Said Alucard with a demented grin. Sweet isn't it, but I will teach you how to use that jutsu with fire and not water. Well, as he said that, Alucard looked even more giddy. Now focus your chakra into your fingertips and imagine and feel the heat of a fire. Then Alucard formed a gun with his index finger, closed his eyes and channeled into it his chakra. He imagined a fire. A raging fire that burned hotter than hell atop of his finger. And shortly after a little ball of flame appeared. He tried to shoot, but after a few meters the projectile made of flames disappeared as fast as it was formed. Don't get mad, it will take some practice in order to make it work. After all, it is a high-rank fire manipulation jutsu. But hey, take this, said Naruto as he tossed a scroll to Alucard. That scroll there has some really handy fire jutsu along with one of my friend's favorites. Look on that, and after I will give you some more work. As the blonde finished, Alucard bowed and made his exit as he turned into mist and left. Then he tossed another scroll to Integra and said that there has some chakra manipulation exercises and a power technique that I think you may know from my story. Now get going. Why don't you yourself teach us? Asked Ceres. You also need to teach yourself. If is there something that you do not understand, feel free to ask. And also, began Ceres, but she was cut by Naruto. And yes, I will teach you something nice as well, don't worry. He said with a smile. Thank you, said Ceres. Walter, at the moment I don't have anything in mind for you, so you are free, but do practice your control. Said the blonde. Thank you, said Walter as he left. Now then Ceres, let us begin. Said Naruto as he began to train with Ceres.
That's all for now. If you want to see next part, then please like this video and subscribe my channel. Thank you.